Hello, and welcome to the second episode of Skin Deep. This is a bespoke horror game using a modified version of the V5 rules. Due to the nature of both the system we're using and the content therein, this is an adult game dealing with content that may not be suitable for all viewers. Tonight's content warnings may include insects, claustrophobia, medical harm, self-harm, graphic violent descriptions, heights, and Morgellons disease. This episode, or this series in general, may not be for everyone. So with that phenomenal introduction in mind, why don't we go around and meet our players? Sarah, why don't we start with you?
Hi, my name's Sara. I will be playing Ella Barnes, she, her, for both of us. Daddy's perpetual student, and happy to be so. And contributing to the group, might I add, with that fantastic role last time. Thank you.
All right, Katharine.
I play the really, really grumpy Dr. Karen Jones, and I'm excited to just hate everything.
And Johnathan.
Everybody, I'm Johnathan. As you can tell by my snazzy little headlamp, I am playing Lucas Costa, the caver that is hopefully going to keep these people from dying, but we'll see how long that lasts.
It'll go super awesome and great. Patrick!
Hi, I'm Patrick, and I will be playing Dr. Harrison Kent, the geologist who I guess you can say is in charge of this wonderful little group, and God damn it, Ella.
And Jay?
Hi, I'm Jay. I'm going to be playing Mark, the documentarian.
And I am Lex, your storyteller. So with that all in mind, let's get started with episode 2, The Bite. When we left our cast, they had set up camp 350 meters below ground. They had carefully arranged a grid that they began searching and entered the first of many buildings, where they discovered both the etchings of a female figure with too many limbs, or perhaps some sort of horns. There wasn't really a consensus reached. As the light of day faded away, they were alone in a city untouched for hundreds of years, and accosted by a never-ending sound of something shifting, moving within the floors and the walls and the cavern around them. It was a sleepless night, and everyone awakens groggy and irritable. So before we go any further, we've got some rolls we're going to make. And the first one is, Mark, can you go ahead and roll a Dex stealth check for me, please?
Yes, I can do that.
Gotta be sneaky to creep up on those puppies.
It's puppy cuddles all day long.
Getting pets in.
That would be 3 successes, one of them a 10.
All right.
So I guess 4 successes, because you were saying they counted for 2, right?
Yeah, that's how we're going to do it, because that's how I said we were going to do it.
Yeah.
I don't have another answer for that. So everyone else was kind of lost in the shuffle, so most of us are not going to be making any kind of roll against that stealth, except for Dr. Jones. With your particular flaw, you can go ahead and roll a perception check for me.
See here. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Perception and what is that? Wits and alertness? Where did I put them? Awareness, there we go. Okay, sorry. I'm trying to find everything on my character sheet again.
Just all these dots.
Okay, and it's a 6 and above, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Sorry.
Just a quick dice prayer?
No, my my cat climbed up my leg through sheer force of will. So it is 4, because I have 2 9s and a 10.
Perfect. Yep, that would be 4. So last night, while everyone was asleep, or you were fairly certain everyone was asleep, you are very aware that someone over toward the tech side of camp definitely got up and was moving around during the night. You can't be totally sure who it was. It probably wasn't Ella, just because you were spending a lot of time with her. You'd be probably pretty aware of where she had laid down in the end. Everyone else, everyone actually, because of the night we spent here, we're going to do our first sanity roll of the game. So with your sanity, you're going to roll as many dots as you have in sanity, and you need to get half rounded down in order to keep your sanity dot in successes.
I keep my sanity.
Ooh.
I barely pulled that off.
Yeah, me too. Mine was also barely.
Thanks to the rounding down, I keep mine as well.
Makes a note.
Yeah, right?
What was that, Dr. Jones?
I think yeah.
I muted. Does the 10 also count for the sanity rolls?
No, it's just going to be just flat 1-to-1.
Okay, then I don't make it.
All right, so Dr. Jones loses herself a dot of sanity. How'd we do, Lucas?
Skin of my teeth. I made it.
Cool. All right. Now that still keeps you all at pretty high sanity, so, no one's stark raving around in their bloomers here exactly, but soon. Give it time. After a night like that in this place, you're just not feeling right. Some of you have done this before and some of you haven't, but regardless, that doesn't really shake the feeling that you're not welcome here. And everyone kind of gets up and starts going about their days.
Jones is going to try to very subtly look at the ground, near the tech area.
Near the tech area?
Yep, near the tech. Just like stretching, trying to be subtle. Probably not subtle.
But you're looking over that way as people start to rouse?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Trying to look at the ground, see, if there's footprints or anything that look different or fresh.
One note you'll catch if you're looking over that way is that that Mark is popping something out of a pill bottle prescription. Just for the record, since you're looking over that way, he does it stealthily, but he's not like actively hiding it.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Good
like
to know.
lots of footprints around and stuff. Because you guys were doing a lot of walking around and setting stuff up. You could definitely make like a tracking roll for it, but it would be a pretty high difficulty down here since there were so much movement and equipment and whatnot. And it's not exactly like you're on fresh snowfall.
I mean, I guess I can try.
Yeah, give it a go. Let's go.
What is that? Intelligence and investigation?
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, no. I got one success. I don't think that's enough.
That would not be enough. So yeah, stuff looks disturbed over here, but it looked disturbed when you went to bed, and it looked disturbed when you got down here, and...
Ella is probably still not like really up from her area. Like she's still just where all her stuff is plopped down, and she has like a little like compact, maybe like a really fancy one that has like a light in and is just like putting foundation on and doing her black lipstick and like and eye makeup and stuff.
Perfect.
Dr. Kent would have gotten up and He's absent-mindedly just kind of patting around for his pack of cigarettes, which he knows he's not supposed to be bringing down here. But he's got that one tucked away, just in case. But now he's... God damn it. Gets up, starts heating up some water, getting that powdered instant coffee garbage ready. Yes, everyone knows that smell, and it's there. But for the grace of God, go I. But
Breakfast of champions.
It's either that or Red Bull, and my liver can't take that anymore. But getting the coffee ready, I'm just kind of giving the camp a look over. I'm doing a quick head count, making sure that I'm not necessarily keeping track of where everyone is. I'm just making sure that we have the appropriate number of bodies up and about.
Yeah, from everything you can see, everything looks exactly as it did last night. You have the correct number of people. Supplies are where you left them. Tech, when you do your checks and whatnot, everything appears to be working as you'd expect, with the exception of your bonkers radios.
So Dr. Kent's just walking around, checking in with everybody, kind of gnawing on a protein bar. Stopping by Dr. Jones first. So, how'd you sleep? Or is that a rhetorical question?
It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah. Sorry. Now there's I don't know. There's just something about this place. Something doesn't sit right with me. I don't know. It's maybe it's just the fact that this place is so goddamn old. We're really the first ones here.
It feels different.
Yeah, this is definitely. I'm getting the feeling that this is gonna be. This is probably gonna be a long day. And listen, I'll keep an eye on Miss Barnes. Just make sure that she's just pulling her weight. Just teaching her a thing or two about what it's like living and working out in the field. But yeah, if you just go ahead, this is going to be more your neck of the woods right now anyway today. You just keep tabs on me. I'll keep tabs on you. Let me know if you find anything interesting out in the grid. I'm going to be taking Ms. Barnes out and around and getting some samples from the different foundations and everything else there. There's something with this stonework that bears looking into.
Say so.
All right, well, I'll just the coffee's over there. Help yourself if you can suffer through it.
It's caffeine adjacent. It's good enough.
It's actually brought some extra sugar packets, so if it helps. But all right, well, I'll check in with you around breakfast. I'm gonna meander off.
And Ella, once she finishes her face as best she can in these conditions, and she's got her fan out and is like trying to dry the super tacky lipstick and like the mascara and everything, and she walks up to Mark. Should I get mic'd up or?
Well, I mean, I had a plan for how I wanted to do this. I want to do you a bit later, sort of as we've done the later bits. The kind of angle that I'm going for after seeing you yesterday, I don't know what the hell you were doing with the grids, but it seemed like whatever you were doing, they were kind of surprised by the fact that you could do it. So I have some thoughts on that angle. I think I'm going to do Dr. Jones's talking head first. But if you're wearing your helmet, Sound should have changed the batteries on that this morning. So I'll check in with him. But you should be already mic'd up. By the way, you're lucky you didn't get anything trying to get at the cosmetics while you were sleeping. Just for the record, sleeping with that stuff on is not a good idea when you're in caves.
Oh, she didn't sleep with it on. She took it off before she went to bed with a wipe and put it back on in the morning.
Oh.
Yeah. You don't go to bed with a full face of makeup.
But she's a professional, okay?
Right.
But
It may
she
be a
would've been
cave.
yeah, I put it on every morning. It just, it's like armor or whatever. Everybody's got their shit.
That's fair. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Also, I do agree about the everybody underestimates me angle. I think that's really, I think that's good.
Yeah, and if we decide to play on the unhinged side, it's going to be a cool dichotomy that we can play on. So yeah, I want to see how that plays out before we do your talking head.
Okay, fair enough. And Ella will start to just kind of circulate through the camp.
I'm going to head for coffee and caffeinate.
I think Dr. Kent would probably swing by Lucas to check in too. Just because Lucas is a very important part of this expedition. Dr. Kent actually offers Lucas a protein bar. Breakfast?
Got my own, but thank you.
Yeah. Gears intact, everything seems to be okay on your side of things?
Bold of you to assume that I have gotten that far before coffee.
Valid point. Very valid point. But no, I
have
trust
no reason
your
to think we have. I have no reason to think anything's wrong. I mean,
well, I know. It's just that noise last night. There's got to be some sort of infestation or something down here. That noise was everywhere last night.
Insects, salamanders, lizards, snakes.
In the Paris catacombs, there were rats everywhere, and it sounds a lot like that. It sounds a lot like rats.
See, I haven't had the pleasure of going down there. That's more Dr. Jones's area of expertise. That section's there's more man-made stuff down there than natural, so that's not my purview. And no, thank you. The caves are enough for me. I have no intention on going into a cramped space with lots of dead bodies. That's not my idea of a good weekend.
I mean, they're dead. They can't hurt you.
I was also going to say, isn't that what we're looking for here? That's what we're...
Yeah.
Dr. Jones will come up with coffee and be like, well, if there are bodies down here, they're at least going to be nice-looking bodies. The Incas preferred mummifying their dead because they were sacred and
the environment down here stands to reason that any organic matter that we find is going to be well preserved. It's relatively dry. I mean, for a big vaulted ceiling like this, I mean, the humidity is not too bad.
It's a great way of saying mummified.
Yeah, I mean, unless there are rats. Also, if this whole society disappeared, I mean, you have to assume that, we're going to find some that aren't mummified, because who's going to have mummified them? Unless it was aliens.
I have yet to actually find something that even leaves that open for a possibility. And I've seen my fair share of weird shit. And I mean, this place is definitely now on the top of my list. But still, I mean, it's got a pretty high bar to clear to even get past this, a range of skepticism with me.
I mean, you're the one who said haunted.
Look, I suck at the extemporaneous. I'm not the speaker. And I was just fishing. I'm not a good God damn it.
As far as documentaries go, you caught a big one when you went fishing with the word haunted. Just trust me on that. That's going to be like tagline. Like it plays right at the beginning in like the Netflix preview. That's going to be there.
It's just the fact that one way or the other, my career in academia is over. Either we find something spectacular down here, or that tagline is going to sink whatever is remaining of my credibility.
Or you become like the David Attenborough of cave diving. Like you become that guy, the one who like does all of the documentaries on this thing. You'd be surprised how much it requires a little bit of career suicide in order to have everyone know your name.
That's true.
With that, or you can be as famous as the aliens guy.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, don't the kids do memes these days?
Yeah,
You'd
you
make
could be a
great
meme. You got the meme, the face for memeing for sure. You know.
You could be the new Harold or whatever.
Ghosts.
Yes, exactly. I'm not saying it was Ink and Ghosts, but it was probably Ink and Ghosts.
Mummies.
And Ella is finally walking up to get coffee while you all are having this discussion, and she's kind of at this discussion of memes, just nodding. She's like, can't argue. You're like, yep, and so she'll look around at everyone while she's fixing the coffee. So what's first on the agenda today?
Oh, actually, Ms. Barnes, I was gonna take you. We were gonna go check out some of the periphery. That means the outer edge of the buildings.
Yeah, I had a far above average score on all of my standardized testing when it comes to words and writing and essays and all that. I've written enough papers for 4 undergraduate students.
I understand that. Okay, wrong foot. I apologize for that dig. You're right. And I'm going to put my foot in my mouth. So you and I are going to go. We're going to take a look at some of the outer buildings.
Okay.
Some of the stonework out there is going to probably come from a different source and the stuff further inside here. And then,
okay.
And then we're going to take some samples from whatever natural rock we can. And then whatever's after that, you're going to go help out Dr. Jones with her cataloging.
And she gives a really saccharine, smirky smile. It's like, sounds good.
So
Hope I excel again today.
Well, the better you do down here, the easier it is for me to actually, write a glowing recommendation down here.
And she downs the coffee in one go. She's like, count on it.
Oh my God! Okay, you know what? You've actually. Okay, I'm gonna dial this back even more now. Okay, you're in the club. You drank the shit.
Lucas is going to lean over to his, caver buddy, or Mark, whichever is closer.
I'm standing probably pretty close.
All the NPCs are sort of standing around being quiet.
I have never seen a man swallow his foot up to the fucking thigh before.
Oh yeah, his entire leg. I kind of want this interaction to continue to see if he will eat himself and turn into a miniature black hole.
He's gonna be hopping around.
Dividing
the rest of
by
this.
0.
Yeah. Oh yeah. The danger is the
Fight.
Do I, storyteller? Do I actually hear this exchange?
We're mumbling.
Sort of. At first, it kind of sounds just like that generic other people are having another conversation kind of mumbling. But when Spencer, who was your caver buddy, starts doing the fight, that's kind of when you realize this whole group is now watching your interaction.
Probably ends with a little side elbow from Mark when he looks over.
Shit.
So,
So
now that Dr. Kent's realized that he's made himself the center of attention by making an ass out of himself, he's turned beet red. and he's going back over to his tent to start getting his stuff for the day, getting his gear ready.
Almost filled me in. Almost.
And Sound, who you hadn't realized had been there the whole time, is like, I feel kind of mean.
We kind of are.
Oh.
And Lucas is gonna, look over to Ella, just like.
And she's like,
It's probably just a bunch of us over there, like.
just finger guns abound. And Ella's just taking it in, absolutely smug.
Oh my god.
Dr. Jones is just over here like, I fucking hate everyone.
Perfect. So now we know our hierarchy of people. So the morning proceeds sort of as you would be used to. There's bad coffee, there's some, quick fry-up type food, mostly just protein bars going around. Still, supplies, everything seems normal, everything's about where you'd expect, so your morning kind of picks up. You guys grab your samples, you bring it back, you extend your grid work, and there's just general work vibes going on. Kind of through into about the afternoon. You're about finished your grid work out here. For anything more, you're gonna have to start moving your way into the streets of this small city.
We Dr. Kent would have taken Ella and probably Paolo, and they would have actually gone further out. They're still trying to maintain whatever we'll say engagement discipline, as far as trying to stay in contact with everybody else due to the fact that we're inside a gigantic magnet. Making sure that we're still staying within line of sight of somebody, but we're trying to get as far away from the camp as possible. That's the main objective, is to try to get a better lay of the land and make sure that we're not accidentally stumbling into anything geologically nasty out here.
So are you getting away from the camp sort of further into these huts and whatnot, or are you kind of moving outwards more towards the natural walls to get...
More towards the natural side of things.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, you guys grab some samples from closer to and from your camp, and then you grab some that are as far away and the most untouched of the samples as you can grab.
Uh-huh.
And are you doing it? Are you having Ella do it?
I'm probably I probably would have told Ella what exactly I was looking for, and I would have stayed nearby just to kind of make sure that she was doing as instructed, but I wasn't going to. I'm not going to helicopter over her to make sure that she's doing her job correctly, but the occasional peek while I'm doing my own thing just to make sure.
Okay, perfect. So Ella, why don't we go ahead and get do you have science, or do you just have the academics?
I do have science.
Because you're actually doing this like with your hands rather than theoretically, let's go ahead and make this an Intel science roll.
Oh no, so many dice.
And while you're rolling, while you guys are down there, you hear actually probably everyone in the cave hears this, but it sounds like a whole bunch of bees. Like I don't know if anybody's ever heard a drone before, but it sounds like 1,000 bees. You hear that sound as it whizzes out and spins around you two while you're doing your thing. It's just doing a big wide panning with a big spotlight on it. Yeah, you probably actually reveals more of the cavern too, if anyone's looking. But yeah, it's just kind of spinning around you guys, getting some shots, kind of coming in close and jumping back, that kind of stuff. It's probably annoying.
And it is extremely loud in here. Now that this thing is going and it's bouncing off the walls, it's a little deafening. A roll, though, Ella.
I got 6 with the critical.
And
Phenomenal. I don't even know why you're rolling for it. It's just good.
Just okay.
So, storyteller.
Yes.
Well, everyone is distracted by doing things or watching the drone. I would like to very subtly pull my tent ever so slightly, like maybe like a foot away from everyone else, and I'm just gonna slowly throughout the day continue to do that.
Sure. Is there any particular direction you're moving it, or just away from the others?
Away from the others, probably closer to one of the walls.
Okay. So at first it won't be very noticeable, but at some point later throughout the game we'll probably trigger some perception rolls to see if anyone notices this. But at the moment, Dr. Jones could be doing anything. Tightening the tent, shuffling it, any number of things.
Storyteller, have we noticed anything untoward while we're out here doing our field work? Everything's appearing to be normal, at least all things considered.
Why don't we go ahead and get another wits and awareness roll from you guys?
Okay.
am I included in that with the drone, or or am I too focused on?
You're too focused on flying the drone, especially since it is giving you a bit more issue than you would expect. Which does sort of check out with this being, center of a giant magnet, as it turns out.
Yeah.
But you'll get a chance to do that when you download your footage, as will anyone who watches the footage with you.
Okay.
3 successes, and what did you have, Dr. Kent? 3 as well?
3. Yep.
Perfect. So it seems like the further away from the city you get, the less you're noticing those strange swirls in the walls. That seems to be very collected once you start reaching structure. But these walls seem very, very professional, almost. This doesn't exactly strike you as what you would expect to see from a natural cave-in. There are juts in the walls, but it seems like this was pretty much hollowed out before the cave-in happened, which checks out with there being a city down here. But they didn't have this kind of technology to hew out a mountain like this.
Right. So there's the work that was done. It's clearly been made with something beyond whatever. Okay. All right. Some more. And I would actually point this out to Ella. I don't know if you're picking up on this, but this rock, the technology that this group would have had access to, you would have had more rough gouging, more actual. It's like you can see this. The surface looks almost like planed and polished. This was done using technology that these people didn't normally have access to, and that's something that you'll want to make a note of in your field log.
Yeah, I did notice that too. I guess another point in the column for aliens, right? And she takes out her log and starts writing a little bit. Storyteller, what did the 6 get me?
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you held up a 3. I'm sorry.
No. I did hold up a 3 for the wits and awareness, but for the intelligence and science, I got 6. Did we say what that got me?
Oh, that was for your
what happened
stuff.
Yeah.
So Ella, once again, is just really spectacular at this. It's clear that what you're having on your hands here is someone who's not a good student, but has a very clear natural inclination for this. This is someone who has a natural talent and a natural gift for it.
Cool.
And Miss Barnes, I do want to I do know that I've come across as being a patriarchal asshole, and I apologize.
I accept your apology. But I'd prefer there's no like martinis down here, but I'd prefer like the waspy, just like diversion and talking about like the weather or rocks instead of like feelings. So
Fine.
but
Gotcha.
I appreciate it. Thank you. And Ella seems very content to like continue working and pursuing these tasks that she's doing, but she does accept Dr. Kent's apology.
And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna actually take I'm gonna take a piece of paper or a piece of tracing paper, and I'm going to put it up against one of the walls or one of the sides of the cave here. And I'm actually going to take my graphite and I'm going to do a quick sketch or do a quick relief, just so I can I'm trying to get a better handle on the actual surface texture of this rock. Just for my own personal reference, just to help illustrate the fact that this doesn't seem to be a natural formation. And the technology level, as you said, is a little out of sorts.
So the rubbing you get seems almost smoothly pebbled, is probably the best way to describe it. It's not quite noticeable to your fingertips, but when you go in as far as graphite, it's mostly smooth, but it's definitely got a little bit of that much more subtle than, but an almost stucco kind of look to it, just much finer than that.
Understood. Yeah, and once again, the stone appears to be natural for the region.
Yes, the stone itself appears to be exactly what you would expect for this region, especially down under the earth.
All right. I'm gonna continue about my work, and if it's clear that that Ella's it is clear that Ella's doing an outstanding job here,
crushing it.
Yep. So I'm keeping my distance. I'm staying. I'm giving her the space that she needs to work while I'm doing my own stuff. But I'm still, we're still staying. We're still trying to keep up with the buddy system down here.
All right.
And Mark's going to kind of sidle up as you're doing your thing, and he kind of comes over to you while the drone's still zipping around. It seems like it's pointed in the other direction now, and it's kind of pointed down the big hallway. So I thought the Inca stacked rocks. I didn't know they had drilling equipment.
Was that to me?
Yeah.
Yep.
And not making eye contact. I'm definitely eyes down to the drone.
You're watching the screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is. Yeah, there's something definitely not right down here. The stacking rocks. You can see on the structures that's all normal, but the stone. And I'm just gesturing to the rock face. This is not normal by any stretch of the imagination.
No.
And as far as those weird wrinkles or tubes or whatever the hell those things are, I still haven't quite figured out what exactly those are for. But I'm gonna make sure that when we're done over here, I need to grab Dr. Jones, and we need to take a closer look at that too. There's something, I don't know. It isn't sitting quite right in my head. There's something going on with those two, and there's something going on, and it's just we need to start putting the pieces together.
And just so I can plan for batteries, are we heading further in today, or are we mainly staying here?
I was planning on staying here. There's plenty enough to do right here, right now, especially given the fact that we are limited in our communication abilities. I do not want to stray too far from the entry point, at least without making sure that everyone is on board with going further in.
Okay. Yeah,
and I would defer to Lucas in that regard as well.
Okay. Do you care if I take the drone further in?
By all means, we're permitted to use it down here. Might as well take advantage of it. Go ahead.
Okay.
If you hadn't, how is it doing down here with the?
It's shit. It means that if we want to go further in, I gotta walk a little ways with it. I'm not getting like the usual range out of it that I usually do. I mean, like, usual range is like 1.5 kilometers, but like in this case, it's like it's shit.
Right. I would say, yeah, if you and Sound wanted to do your own thing, just make sure that you let us know where you're going.
Okay. Yeah, we'll probably go a little further down this way, kind of towards where we saw the like structures, and kind of sweep over that.
Right. Just don't stray too far. Make sure that you know, I don't want anyone getting separated, getting lost down here. That would be a really bad thing to have happen.
Yeah.
And then after all that's over and done with, I'm gonna hang around with Ella and Paolo and continue working until it's time to go back for lunch.
Sounds good. Your red light, green light system is also working just fine to let the 150 meter camp know that you guys are good or not good, theoretically.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that seems to be holding up, and Paolo has been up and down and said, they can definitely see it, no problem.
Nice.
Anyone else going about any business currently? No? Alright, so the group all kind of...
Probably just maintaining camp, and I'm probably the one getting lunch ready for everybody since...
Yeah, you and Spencer and... Yeah, you've been here before. You know how this works. You did your job getting them down here. Now you can, hopefully, just sit back and collect this paycheck.
Exactly.
Hopefully. So everyone sort of comes back together at lunch to discuss what all they've been doing. Dr. Jones, have you been doing anything during this time period?
Other than moving my tent, I've also been sitting around kind of flipping through my notebook, reviewing some notes, and trying to, maybe put together this strange woman with something, but...
Okay. Alright, so everyone sort of comes back together all at lunch, which is well known to be, as the group does the check-in. If there are any supply issues, everyone sort of lets everyone know here. None of you have really been very far outside of each other's sight, so it's not as important currently when everyone comes back together.
I think for lunch, it's definitely rehydrated something or other. It smells vaguely of beef stew.
Yeah, something like that.
Beef stew-like.
Beef stew-like, I mean...
But the fact that it smells like beef stew, but it's clearly labeled as a vegetarian option, is also questionable. But Dr. Kent,
you try it.
Yeah, it's goddamn organic MREs.
Here. And Mark hands over a little seasoning pouch that's on like a little belt clip. And it's like, these have saved my ass in the jungle 1,000 times. It will make cardboard taste like spicy something. If your mouth is burning, you can't taste it tastes like ass.
Yeah, good point. And I try some of it out, and okay, yeah, it's that is pure. What is that?
It's my own little mix of chipotle, ghost pepper, and steak seasoning, basically. It's a little homemade something, but like I said, you can eat boot leather and you won't taste it. It's specifically what it's made for.
I can't taste anything right now.
Perfect.
All right.
Rehydrated, everything tastes about the same, so...
Yeah.
So, and I kind of go over my findings with Dr. Jones as far as, yeah, there's something, we'll say, anachronistic about the digging tech that they use to make this place. It's not lining up with what they would have had.
Going through my notes, this is not something they would make. This is the location is too strange.
You'd find something like this with a group further north. Not, more, like North American versus South American, style of building.
Incas, they wouldn't have this.
No.
Going back through my notes, this is hell for them.
Mm-hmm.
Being underground, you mean?
Being underground, they have different afterlives. And the good afterlife is you go up into heaven. There's plenty of food. It's the perfect paradise. But basically their interpretation of hell is going underground where you eat rocks. And that's the only thing to eat.
Yeah, they had like a whole sun worship thing, right? Wasn't that their jam?
Yeah.
The Incans, the Mayans, the Aztecs. It was fairly universal here in the Americas. You find plenty of solar focus in the native North American tribes there too.
And Ella kind of snorts, and she's like, "Makes more sense to me than some magical sky daddy."
Well,
the sun's actually there; you can see it.
I fully agree with your assessment on that. There, you end up running across the same symbology and the same motifs. Like the pyramids, fucking aliens.
I mean, we're all human beings, so there is that.
The pyramids are logical. It's the best way to stack rocks so they don't fall down. I don't understand how people don't understand this.
Well, you see that every material has a cohesion factor. You're 100% correct.
Triangle's the strongest shape.
Fucking aliens.
And Ella will kind of like go next to Dr. Jones. So have you made any conclusions about the figure, the feminine figure? I really don't recognize it at all.
Closest thing I could think of that would be an underground figure would be a demon.
I was just about to say, if this is hell, maybe that's a demon.
It's possible. The way that I see it is we need to do more research. But basically, one of my theories is that this is supposed to be a mining camp of some sort. That would be the only reason why they would be down here. And
maybe it's like a punishment to work down here.
Possible, but the miners had a ritual to this god that basically was translated into the devil. It's not originally, but the god is the god of mining, the god of death, the god of the underworld, and the god of demons.
So it was like the ritual supposed to
the ritual is supposed to protect the miners.
Okay. Didn't know if it was a protection or a supplication. There's a difference between the two. So.
And then Ella goes up to Lucas. So you've been in like a bunch of caves, right?
Yeah, to say the least.
So how does this all compare so far to the things you've seen in the past?
Walls definitely don't really match up to anything that I would be used to seeing.
Yeah.
But, frankly, the walls here kind of seem smoother than what I remember seeing during my completely legal jaunts through the Paris catacombs.
I was just thinking the same thing. You know what it looks like? You know when they were expanding the exploration and they had to dig air holes? And they took the big drilling equipment that went straight down. Like, basically, it reminds me of that. Like, it's like they've used a freaking auger, and that does not make any sense.
It absolutely doesn't.
Yeah, that shit we used to rappel down, that, like, those manholes that lead to giant holes going straight down, like, that's the vibe I get. And it's kind of freaky, honestly. I'm going to be the one to say we should probably go deeper. We should go figure out, like, we haven't found any remains yet. We haven't found any, like, I feel like we should go a little further out. My drone's range is for shit, so I'd love to go in the direction where we found that statue and just, like, see what we can see.
Have you seen any elevated buildings? That would be a good place to go.
I'm dumping footage to the iPad right now, so, like, I'll scroll and see if I found anything.
Mind if I watch over your shoulder?
Yeah, come on in. I'll just kind of take a seat sort of central so anyone can look and kind of scroll through some of the footage.
Ella's definitely wants to see some for sure.
I'll watch. I'm not gonna ask to, like, manipulate anything there. I'm just gonna passively take in what everyone else is watching.
All right. So everyone kind of crowds around the iPad, all of our mains and our NPCs in, order of import on who's closest to the screen. Leave that up to your imaginations.
Yeah, right. Sounds in the corner, like, oh.
It sounds like trying to.
I helped with this.
Sounds is like in front of Mark, like trying to look over.
Yeah, he's on the wrong side of the screen.
He's on the wrong side. There's like too many people on the other side. He's just kind of looking over, like trying to see something.
Like straddling the cooking pit, like.
Yeah, just looking to see if he can see anything upside down and like recognize something, but he's
a free
it's
thinker
all
like
rock,
that.
so it looks the same.
Alright.
We're great people.
Fuck this sound guy.
Yeah, right?
Sound sucks. Who cares about sound?
What is Sound's actual name?
His name is Sound.
He's tried to tell us twice, and
He shall be known as
We
Sound.
legitimately don't know Sound's name because every single time he's like, actually, I'm whatever.
I'm busy.
Like, at least we know who Spencer is.
Yeah.
Spencer's cool.
Oh my god, Sound is the red shirt.
yep.
I love you, Jay.
Just a sec.
We broke the SD. Oh no. Sound.
Okay.
For context, I'm a sound person in real life, hence the mockery, just out of character. So, yeah.
All right. So the footage starts uploading to the iPad, and it kind of takes a minute to suss out because normal drone footage, it's pretty clear, what's up and what's down. But here, that's a little easier to flip around. And of course, I'm sure Mark didn't take this at the perfect elevation. I'm sure he was partying this drone all around our cavern.
Yeah, I'm going for cinematic. I'm not mapping. I'm doing big sweeping masters with it.
So you guys see more of just a bird's eye view of what you see of your camp. Those of you who had a little bit of bravery on your way down already kind of got this bird's eye view of it when you were rappelling down. So the way it seems to be generally set up is there's where you guys have set up camp in sort of a modified almost city center. And then when the drone goes up, it's clear that the city itself continues on for quite a ways into the cavern. Some parts of it, many parts of it, in fact, are not part of this big open dome that you're in. Those are going to be parts that are actually dangerous and are actually going to require some caving skills. But the main thing that really stands out when the drone goes up is those small wrinkles, I think you called them, which I really liked, that you saw on the walls, are definitely on the floor. Once you get that bird's eye view of it, it is clear that those spread out pretty well everywhere.
Now, does it appear that they terminate maybe further in towards the city, or like, are they all going towards deeper in?
It's kind of hard to tell a direction. There's definitely more of them that way, so if you were to consider this a traveling direction, it would be going in that direction.
Mm-hmm. But I don't, at least there's no discernible pattern yet.
There doesn't appear to be a discernible pattern. It appears very random, is definitely the best way. They appear to crisscross over each other, join into each other. They remind you almost of like water rivulets, is what this would be most likely to look like. Mm-hmm. But this would be a very, very unusual way for water to burrow out cave like this.
What if it's like calcified fungus? Like the remains of a big ass like fungal system. I've seen some of that in caves before, where like you get these fungal systems that grow and then eventually they die because like the conditions change.
Oh, you know what? I actually was thinking earlier when I was looking around, like, do these civilizations, like, obviously they drank alcohol, everybody did, but like, did they do like drugs, like psychedelics, or was there any sort of that in ritual use or just for recreation? I'm not sure.
I'm gonna get way out ahead of this and say don't try chipping a piece off and sampling it. Just like,
do not lick the cave.
Oh my god, I'm not that desperate for a buzz. I've got all the shit I could ever want at home. Okay, like I don't need that.
I'm gonna take my rock hammer. I'm actually gonna go over to the nearest one and I'm gonna chip off a sample. Actually, I don't think we've actually done that yet. I'm just gonna let's see what this actually is. Let's break off a piece.
Are you going for one of the wrinkles specifically, or just a piece of the wall? Did you say?
One of the wrinkles specifically.
One of the wrinkles specifically.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's got to be some by our camp.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. They're just lesser around your camp, so it doesn't take you long to find one. And you go to chip away at it, and your little pickaxe goes basically straight through into this wrinkle. It is definitely hollow inside of this.
Like paper mache almost. What the hell? And I take my hammer out and...
What are you doing over there, boss?
They're tunnels. The wrinkles, they're hollow. My rock hammer went right through one. And I'm gonna start... I'm not touching this barehanded yet, because but I'm using my rock hammer, and I'm making that little hole bigger, and I'm taking a flashlight and I'm shining it in, just to get a closer look.
So it's quite a small little divot, probably less than like the size of like a pen lid, basically. So it's not super easy for you to like get your head down and like shine down it. It's not like this is some kind of transit tube. Mm-hmm. But it appears, as far as you can see, to be hollow the whole way through. Just a fine veneer of rock still over it.
Does it have an odor to it? Does it smell?
It does not. Beyond what this whole place sort of smells like.
Okay. All right. Well, there's no gas deposits then, or at least nothing. Ew. Okay. Yeah, but it's dry underneath this. Okay. Yeah, this is interesting.
They weren't. I don't know. It's just kind of a weird, I guess, pattern to see him in. Otherwise, I would venture the guess of lava tubes.
Or like a root system. If the roots died and hollowed out, like if they decayed and left like the residue of the bark or whatever.
Yeah, that'd probably do it.
Big ass plant.
Oh wait, storyteller, point of clarification, what did these look like back at that building where we found the crazy bladey picture thingy?
What do you mean, what do they look like?
Well, because I thought you said those were like in the floor of that room.
Yes, they're in the floor, and they came up the walls, and what was so strange about them was that the rock of the structure and the rock of the seat were all one piece, and yet the rivulets appeared to disappear behind them and then reappear at the bottom of the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Which does not appear to be the case where you are, but you're also in a much open, wider space than that building.
And you mentioned last game that that a few of us who had succeeded in our roles had seen something like this before and that we'd have to sleep on it?
Yes, I believe you and Lucas were the two. I think the only two, but I could be wrong. Feel free to correct me. Who were kind of having that tip of the tongue issue.
Yeah.
You're still kind of there. It's not quite piecing it together just yet.
Okay.
So, go ahead.
I was gonna say I kind of got my teeth in this here. I was wanting to maybe go back and take a closer look at that building, unless anyone objected.
I mean, I'm down. I feel like the grid references are all well and good, but we're like the first team. We're the ones to discover the validity of the claim, and then we can, no offense to Ella, but we can send archaeology students down here to do that other stuff. This is about the discovery, right? You want to justify and get your grant. I feel like deeper is the place to go.
And I mean, I'm completely here for, the making sure that you guys don't fall to your deaths and everything, but I would like to do something else than just sit on my ass and make y'all dinner.
I was actually going to approach you about that there, Lucas, as far as what you recommended. As far as I'm concerned, you're the expert down here, and I'm going to defer to whatever you want to do. If you think it's okay for us to go deeper, I'm all on board for going deeper, but I'm going to defer to your judgment.
I've seen absolutely no reason not to. I mean, it's when it comes to like the buildings and stuff, that's your department. Mm-hmm. But I don't see any reason not to.
Fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, well, Lucas, I've got no problem if you want to go ahead and take point on that, and we'll go as deep as you're willing to take us. Yeah, Kat. All right,
you want to say that to me?
Yeah. No. I was gonna say, little bit of a dangerous proposition with Luke, but.
Did you need something, Rin?
Rin.
Yep, I was like, what does the building patterns look like? Because it sounds like we're interested in going deeper, but I want to kind of focus on where we want to go deeper.
So it's sort of hard to tell, because some of it is open, but some of it is closed in, which is leading you to believe that however this was formed, it was still somewhat formed naturally. This isn't someone who came out with a big ancient backhoe and cleared out a mountain. So it seems like from where you are, there's a few entrances into the streets themselves, which will funnel you towards another city center type of thing that you've dropped into. So there's a few ways you can enter, but at the moment, because you don't have a full bird's eye view of the whole place, there's no way to, this is the most direct route kind of thing. But you do have at least one drone with some mapping technology, so you do have some advanced sight if you want to send tech down a few of the branches first.
I feel like that would be a good idea. If we're gonna go, let's find something interesting to go.
All right.
And Dr. Kent will he's gonna rat herd on this one, and unless he points, or unless Dr. Kent spots something that's gonna really pick his interest, he's gonna let Lucas and Dr. Jones kind of lead the way here. This is they're now. His part of the job is semi-done, at least until he finds something strange and fucky to deal with.
So I'm gonna go over to Ella with it's basically like a tech-looking bean that's about this big with a handle on it. It's it's this weird-looking oblong thing. I'm like, hey, are you busy right now? Are you in the zone? or do you have a pair of hands?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, whatever you need. Let's do it.
All right, this thing. I hand it to her. It's horrendously expensive. I'm just gonna say that, but it's LiDAR, right? So basically, what it's doing is it's shooting lasers out in all directions as we walk, and it'll create like a real-time map of what it can see. So if you can like hold that up above our heads, I'm going to be flying the drone probably. So if you can just hold that up, it'll generate a bump map of the environment and give us kind of an idea of how far those caverns go.
Yeah. Cool. Very cool. Yeah, definitely we'll do that.
And then when we get back, we can download it and we can have a look at what it sees, which is, it's pretty cool. And like you can use it to make 3D renders and like build like an interactive map and VR and all that fun stuff. So
damn, I can't believe I never knew about this stuff. This is cool.
It's super,
the future
super
is
cool.
now, old man.
We live in the future.
Drop the fucking thing. He's not kidding. That thing is worth 2 or 3 research grants. That thing is he's not fucking around.
I mean, it's like 20K. You know, like it's not that crazy.
Geology research grants.
My dad lets me drive the rolls. Like it's fine.
Okay, it's like I don't know if it's necessarily a rolls, but like
at 20K, no way.
Yeah, I've got a Maserati on my back, so let's just try to keep that in mind when we're touching gear.
I like expensive things, and I also know that you have to take care of those expensive things. So
Exactly.
Don't worry, I will be very careful.
Big preach.
And Ella's like, okay.
And there's Harrison's definitely like, oh no. Please don't drop the fucking thing.
So yeah, this calls for the cage. So you deploy the hexagonal cage for when it bumps into stuff, and just zip the drone up with a hand launch and send it out in front of us while we walk.
All right. So how far roughly are you putting the drone out in front of you?
As far as it'll go before the wireless starts giving me grief. Basically, I'm just going to deploy it as we walk. I'm going to watch the back of the person in front of me and pay more attention to the drone.
What would its range be under a normal circumstance?
I mean, underground in the real world, I'd probably say it's more line of sight. I would say easily 700, 800 feet. I've never, in real life, flown a drone in a cave, but I would imagine line of sight. Yeah, right? I haven't lived.
Drone in a cave.
I haven't lived, I know.
Loser. All right. So you guys start heading towards these roads in, and you've got your drone flying ahead of you, and Ella's got the LiDAR held up above her. And this works pretty well for your first little while. Everything seems to be going good. Lucas, are you on point other than the drone, I assume?
I would imagine so. Probably Lucas on point, Spencer in the rear, just to make sure nothing happens to anybody.
Always safest that way.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, drone, Lucas, and then the group. So for the first little while, everything totally normal, just as if you guys had come down in the city center. But as you start going, these pathways definitely start to close in quite a bit. Within about 100, 150, 200 feet of walking, it's become a lot more single file. The drone is having issues. It's starting to bump into things. And with a lot more of the twists and turns and having to slide yourself between these rock faces, things are not working as well as you would hope them to in terms of the tech. The LiDAR is picking up as much as it can from what you can tell. But I'm going to go ahead and get a Dex Athletics from everyone here to get through this.
Oh no. Oh no.
Uh-oh. I don't like hearing those words.
So now, is there a way to bump up difficulty in the V5 system? Is that a thing? Because I would think that I would be at a disadvantage as far as the Dex Athletics roll while piloting a drone. I would think I would suck at that.
I mean, it's not like you're gonna pilot the drone as you're sliding between these rocks, because it's not like you can
it'll
have
hover.
the thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, exactly. If I was asking you to do both at the same time, yeah, we'd have to find a way to increase difficulty, but I assume your character's not an idiot, so.
No.
I got 5 successes.
5. Oh, I see a 1, 2.
Still rolling, give me a second.
Yep,
6.
no worries. 6.
That is 8, 4, 7 successes.
Okay.
Help to God, this is kind of what I'm good at.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not where we want to see your ones coming up.
No.
Lucas and Karen are just like, fuck it.
Whatever. So yeah, that's eventually what starts to happen. There's a lot of like, fly the drone to a spot, set it down, get through, get everyone through, get the drone back up, that kind of stuff. But there are spaces where it opens back out. So the deeper you get in this, the less that it's weird feeling is kind of hitting you, because this is exactly what you expect from a cave.
Yeah.
Especially an unexplored one. So the first person to get through the tightest squeeze is Lucas, who gets through, gets the drone down, and you turn around and you are in a massive open area. This is much larger than the area you stepped through. And the next person to come through is Dr. Jones, and you realize this is where you need to be, without question. And the next person to come through is our Dr. Kent, who also comes through with just a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a caught ankle. And then comes Paolo, who's definitely coming out like, oh, I got tight in there, huh? Okay.
Stop, man.
Whew.
It gets way worse.
And then through comes Mark with heavy breathing and a burst of oxygen when you can finally lift your shoulders again. And then comes Ella, who doesn't come out. You guys are waiting there for 5, 6, 7 seconds. And inside this cramped little hallway that you've gotten wedged in, which was really cold when you first got in it with the rock pressed against you, but it is getting hot in here and you cannot breathe. You can't expand your chest to take a breath, and it is closing in on you, and you are going to be trapped here, and you know it, and you knew you shouldn't have come down here, and you knew it the whole time. And then you step through into this big open area with sound right behind you. And he puts his hand on your back and he's like, you okay?
Yeah. It was just really tight, and then it was really hot, but it's fine. I'm fine. It's whatever. This is just how it is. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay.
Okay.
Take a sec. No one's gonna care if you need a sec.
And Mark had turned around to come back, and so he probably comes up on you guys now. You good?
Yeah, I mean, it was just like, it was so tight, and then it was just like weird because it was cold, and then it was really hot, and
Yeah,
it's just not used to it. Gotta,
yeah. Let's take a sec.
it's fine.
Hey,
It's fine.
up ahead, just a second, okay? Okay.
And Ella probably does like kind of like crouch down, just kind of like bent at the knees, and sort of like maybe like gives herself a little bit of a hug and just kind of like tries to take some deep breaths and just be like,
Lucas is gonna come walking back. Hey. Take a deep breath and hold it. Count to 5. Exhale slowly. Not a fan of enclosed spaces.
I mean, I guess I didn't really know, because I'm not in that, and so I didn't know.
It happens. A lot of people panic their first time. A lot of people get scared when they get stuck for a minute or two. It's okay.
And Ella looks at Lucas, and shining through at that moment is like a look at you that she really looks like a child. Like, it's just a very, like, looking for, like, assurance and approval toward you in this moment because you're there comforting her. And she looks you right in the eye. But it's worth it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And she does one, like, more, like, breath as Lucas instructed, and then stands up.
And Mark will just kind of give you a little, like, gentle pat on the backpack, and like you're down here with the guy who got me through it when I had basically the same thing as you. So you're in good hands. Just listen to what he says. You find yourself in that situation again, just remember to keep breathing, and he'll get you out of it.
Also, why either me or Spencer will always be at the rear of the group, making sure that nobody has anything happen to him.
Yeah, okay. And Ella at that moment does shoot kind of like a sympathetic look towards Sound. And how much of it is genuine and how much is kind of manipulating a little bit his affections is unknown.
Sound himself is also looking pretty pale.
I think Dr. Kent would go up to Ella after everyone's kind of given her space. The first time's always the worst. You'll be good. You've done an amazing job down here so far. Just one foot in front of the other. We're down here with professionals, and keep up the good work. All right, you're doing all right.
And Ella kind of like shakes out her hair, and like kind of like there's probably some like smudgy black stuff in the corners of her eyes, so she sort of like wipes it out. She's like, yeah, you're right. But let's keep going, okay? I don't want to hold it up anymore.
All right. Just one last piece of advice. The next time we get a chance to stop, I would strongly advise taking out your facial piercings. But the last thing I'm going to want to have to do is patch up your nose because you ripped out your septum because your nose ring got stuck on something. I'd strongly advise taking those piercings out.
And you actually see her like do that immediately, and she just starts. Okay. And she stashes them in a little pocket on the side of her backpack, and she's like,
good, thank you. So let's tell you what, let's all take a second, get some water, grab a snack, make sure everyone's getting their rest in. We're here now. I'm just kind of looking over the size of the chamber. We are gonna be here a long time. As long as the supplies hold, I'm down to stay here as long as possible. Lucas, as always, I'm gonna defer to your judgment. When it's time to leave, it's time to leave. But let's make the most of this. Everyone, after the breather, the buddy system is still in play. This place is fucking huge. we need to take that very, very serious going forward. No one stays, or no one leaves Lana side of someone else.
Yeah, we already established that.
I'm reiterating.
Same system holds.
Yes.
I'm gonna kind of.
Jones looks completely unfazed right now. I'm just like, okay, cool. Breathe, do the thing, whatever.
Gonna kind of
And
pull
it's just
Lucas aside back to the back of the group here. Hey, so
Yeah.
that passage, our only way in as far as we know, how stable does that look to you?
Tell her, how stable does that look to me?
Are you asking about the way you just came in here, or are you asking about back at your camp, like your actual?
Oh, I'm asking about the passage that we just came through.
Yeah.
Because if that closes down, like, because it's obviously like a narrow gap.
Yeah,
in the
I just
fall.
wanted to make sure I was giving correct information here.
Yeah.
The passage you just took seems pretty stable. Of course, it's at its most dangerous right now because you all just passed through it. You all just disturbed it.
Mm-hmm.
So from everything you saw, it seems pretty stable, but you definitely wouldn't want to go back out there for about 2 to 4 hours minimum to let everything kind of resettle. 24 hours, of course, would be preferable, but you've caved before. It looked stable. Yeah. This didn't seem rickety and likely to come apart.
We're going to give it a while, because obviously lots of people want to stay here for a bit.
Yeah.
But I'm not terribly concerned about it. We didn't get much of anything shifting on us on the way through. So I'm not, I'm not worried about it.
All right. And in that moment, you see the like 15-year-old kid that you took, who was like super afraid of enclosed spaces, or more accurately being trapped down there. It's just like for a second as he's looking at it, but like, you know, he's couching it in the safety check, but you can tell that he's like, I don't want to fucking get trapped down here. Cool. All right. Awesome. And he walks off.
Thanks for checking.
Yeah. Thanks.
Right. So I think before we get to exploring, that this is actually a really good spot to take a quick break, grab some water, use the washroom, all that kind of stuff, and we will see you back here in about 5 minutes. Bye. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the second episode of Skin Deep. We have just uncovered the second area of Vilcabamba, so let's rejoin our PCs and see what they are up to. So everyone has safely made it through this pathway, including Spencer, who came out last. He was fine. He just kind of fell to the background with what was going on with Ella and Sound. So you've come out into another one of these dome-type structures. And this is even higher than the one you came in through. Now, there weren't any, mountains around where you guys were, so for this to be an even deeper pit you've come into, that means you had to have been heading downwards. Or you've traveled a lot farther than you thought you had, but that seems much more unlikely than it just being a downward slant. For Lucas, this isn't especially surprising. It's perhaps a little more downward than you would have expected. You would have thought you'd have noticed something like that, but it's not the first time. It's easy to lose your bearings in a place like this.
I was paying attention to everybody else, making sure they were okay.
You had a lot on your plate, for sure. That's the kind of thing you would have taken notice of on sort of a second pass through when you were actually taking your measurements and those sorts of things.
Yeah.
I'm after Ella's been kind of settled in and everyone is ready to rock and roll. I do have some things that I want to attend to, Storyteller. So whenever you're ready to cut us loose, I have an agenda now.
Absolutely. I look forward to the checklist.
On a mission.
Yeah, I'm ready for this. Let the game begin for real. So there's a number of small structures similar to the one you had a look at in the other area, though of course you haven't seen into them yet, and it is still extremely dark down here. Much darker than it was even in the other location, because you don't even have your pit to get down, so you have no natural light in this area. This is a bigger city center than the one you came into. There's a lot more of these small structures around. And that's about as far as you can see for now, since you're all still on headlamps and lanterns and things like that. So let's go ahead with your checklist.
Okay. All right. So after Ella's been situated, I'm going to immediately start checking into the rock walls just to see if this is consistent with the other chamber as far as this not necessarily being a natural formation underground. I'm also going to be checking for any inconsistencies in the rocks that might have been used or the stone that might have been used in this structure or in these structures versus the previous one. And also I'm assuming we're still inside a gigantic magnet. Like
Yes.
the general composition hasn't changed. Okay.
No, if anything, it's actually worse in here, because now not only do you have your magnet issue, but now you have several slats of rocks between you and your way out.
Yeah.
In regards to the rock, though, it does still appear to be the stone that you would expect, though now that you know what to look for, it does have that same pebbled texture.
Mm-hmm. And the buildings, they're still using the stacked interlocking style?
They are, yes.
Okay. Well, so far, nothing out of the ordinary. Dr. Jones, if you wanted to go ahead and... Ella, you're kind of working on an interdisciplinary sort of doctorate here, so why don't you two... Ella, you help out Dr. Jones. I'm gonna just keep working with Lucas and making sure that everything is good to go here at the camp. But otherwise, yeah, just holler if you need help.
Okay. And so Ella will kind of approach Dr. Jones. What do you think? This is pretty wild. Even bigger than before somehow?
Yeah. It's, I'm not really sure what I was expecting. Well, let's do the easy thing, and find the biggest building and work our way back.
Okay, sounds good.
As they, tell everyone and they go off, Karen will just kind of, pat Ella very awkwardly on the back, like, it's okay. You'll get better.
And she's definitely, more wary of the comforting from Dr. Jones. She readily accepted it from, Lucas and Mark, and even Dr. Kent to a degree, but for Dr. Jones, it's more but she kind of is yeah, I'm just not used to it, so they said, first time's the worst, so I should be fine throughout the other ones.
It's just, you just... Well, you're at a disadvantage here, but it's fine. You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
Dr. Jones.
Go ahead.
Dr. Jones just kind of goes and grabs her tits and shakes it a little bit. It's I'm part of the itty bitty titty committee. It's a little bit easier for me. You'll be fine though.
Yeah. Tits up. Tits and teeth, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
And then Jones will just continue going.
Yeah, Nella follows to the largest building.
All right, let's go ahead and get just a quick wits awareness to find the largest building. Fabulous.
I picked this flaw for a reason, and I'm loving it.
For it.
This is, I think, my most favorite flaw I've ever chosen in my entire life.
All characters henceforth will have the vulgar flaw.
Oh yeah.
Every character from now on will have the vulgar flaw.
While they're pitching that, I'm setting up gear. I'm going to put the LiDAR on a extended tripod and get sound to man the drone and just kind of buzz it around. It's got a big ass floodlight on it, so just as a heads up, that'll probably reveal some more stuff. But I'm going to follow them with a camera while sound flies the drone.
All right. So sound and them, once I get their roles, are probably going to find the biggest building at roughly the same time, since they're actually looking.
And Lucas
I also have
going to be
perfect
setting up a base camp area, since it's probably super unlikely that we're actually going to be able to get back to our main camp tonight.
Oh my god! What? It's so crazy.
Yeah, I'm going through whatever Paolo was able to drag along, and we're making do. This is.
I have a feeling that Lucas and Spencer probably planned for something like that.
Yeah. So you guys definitely have a smaller camp here. You don't have most of your equipment. You don't have all of your lights and stuff. This is a sleepable camp, but this is a camp at best to kind of hold you over. But yeah, you guys have done this many a time. You know that it's better to have a camp with you that you gotta lug around than to be stuck sleeping on rocks in your gear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you two both got 4s. Perfect. So you are heading along through the city center. Is that a 4 for...
That's a 4 for me, yeah.
Perfect. Are you operating the drone or is Sound operating the drone?
Sound's operating the drone. I'm going to be following them with the camera. He knows how to fly the drone. So.
Perfect. So as you guys are heading forward, you can kind of see the light from the drone illuminating just kind of walls, pathways. It's a very in a place like this, it's really easy to lose your sense of location, since you can never really be sure exactly how far you are from anything until you have it directly in your light. So you almost stumble upon this largest building, a little by accident, since at first it looks very similar to all the other buildings that are around, until you crane your light up and you realize that this is a much, much larger building than the rest of everything here. At a glance, you can tell that this is a building of import. These rocks have been stacked the way that you have come to recognize them to be stacked. They are the perfect interlocked. They are at least twice as large as anything else here.
And Ella's sort of taking in like whatever she can see based on the light. And she's like, looks to Dr. Jones. Jackpot, right?
Looks like it.
All right, so
we'll go inside.
yeah.
We're gonna go inside.
All right, so they are heading inside.
Oh boy.
Everyone hit a checkpoint save.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Are we hearing boss music?
Why is there a healing potion right here out in the open?
Are we gonna see, like, I was just about
Little
to say,
stacks
I was
of
like,
ammo
are we
in the
gonna have,
corner
like, a
and, like-
little ceramic...
Weird.
Oh my gosh, we're all on, like, the same page today.
Yeah.
There's all
We really are.
ups on this hallway. I don't understand.
That's so weird.
We got a little pop-up that said you will not be able to save beyond this point.
Would you like to save your name?
Yeah.
Very much that.
There's, like, little bits of drums in the background that's slowly getting better, and...
All right. So
All
before
right.
you
Is
guys
that the
go in,
boss
are
music?
you are you alerting anyone, or are you guys just heading in?
I think we're just heading in, honestly. I am.
I totally.
I
works for me.
figured the drone would be like, oh, okay, so they're heading in.
I'm following them with a camera. So.
yeah.
So,
Yeah. All right.
so we're fine. You know,
It's totally fine. I
someone's
see no
totally
problem with
watching
this.
our back.
Oh yeah.
Totally. And it's the camera
The
guy.
drone and the camera nerd.
See? So we got two eyes. We're good.
So you two start heading in, and we'll pause you right there and go back to Sound at the camp, who walks over to Dr. Kent, and he's got the, like, device in front of him with basically the smartphone in it showing what he can see. And he's like, hey, Doc, come here. Look.
Yeah, what do you got, Sound?
And he starts taking the drone sort of around this large building, and he's like, I think they found the big one?
Yeah, by the looks of it there. Just, can you take the drone down around by the entrance there, if you could? And I'm assuming I see them starting to walk into the building.
Yeah, so the drone kind of circles around and comes to hover in behind them, and you can see the two of them heading through the door. And as you two begin to head through the door, this apparent flock of bees is now on your back, because that's always what it sounds like.
Yeah, just Sound. Don't be right up in their ass. Just give them some space to work. Just don't go into the building. All right.
Okay, and zzz.
And I pull Lucas over. Hey, we got a show going on here.
Okay.
And I end up in the shot, so I'm yelling at Sound to go forward. Get closer! Closer! I'm in the shot! Yeah.
He says I should go
Sound, no,
closer.
stay right on him the whole fucking time. Just piss him off.
He's your boss. I don't whatever whatever he's telling you to do, you do it.
Okay.
Okay. And he kind of...
All right, fine. I'm done giving him an aneurysm. Do your thing.
You know, you've got the doctor who's like, stay back, and you've got Mark who's like, go forward. Sounds just like very slowly, like just kind of having the drone rock back and forth.
That's what he's doing inside, is slowly rocking back and forth.
I'm actually going to try hollering at them. Do you want him in or out?
They really probably can't hear you from here.
Shouldn't be able to see me in the shot.
This moment of fuckery brought to
Karen
you by.
just kind of doesn't look behind her. Karen just, sticks her hand behind her and flicks off the camera and just keeps walking.
Karen being a professional. I'm gonna make a quick tech roll for sound to make sure he doesn't break this drone.
Yeah, that might
Your tax
that might
dollars
trigger its return to home if you do that.
Oh,
my
good.
God.
Oh, good. He knows how to do his job. Hooray.
Oh, good. It's waiting for this drone to suddenly turn around and fly away. What the hell are you doing?
Oh my god. Alright. So you two head in through the door first. So you're the first one to see it. The inside of this is fully open. Doesn't have exactly what you would call pews, more like spots where one might kneel. But this was definitely some form of temple or church or religious area. Just in the academics between you or apart, you would recognize that. But in the very center, at the farthest back from where you are, there is a raised dais that appears to have some kind of statue standing on it. And as you two move further into the room, Mark comes in to the door behind you, and the drone sort of follows Mark, but it's just going to sort of hover outside the door, because Sound's not dumb enough to try to operate this drone inside a building that he's not actually at.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So you'll be getting the primary footage. The drone's just there, being...
And I'm about 10 feet back, zoomed in, just kind of wobbling from side to side to get the shot.
So the two of you are alone in this building.
What is the statue? What's the description of that?
So the statue appears to be a female figure with her arms down at her side and her face upturned towards the ceiling. From where you are, you can't make out much more detail than it seems to be a figure in this position. You would have to go further into the room for this.
% doing that.
Yeah, Ella is probably kind of fixated on that, kind of like interested, kind of drawing her forward for sure.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go ahead and get a let's get an Intel Academics from the pair of you.
Oh yeah, dice don't fail me now.
Dice.
Yeah, big dice energy.
Theology or ancient cultures spec?
Yeah, let's go with ancient cultures.
Okay. And I forget how to do spec with the V5 system.
Just adds one extra die, as I recall.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Oh, I missed the willpower reroll. Oh, I miss it so bad.
Yeah.
I got 4. Not great considering the pool, but
Better than that one from earlier.
I'm super distracted, so I only get 2.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just like, ooh. What is this?
Yeah, so that's basically exactly what happens to Dr. Jones. While your scientific mind should be working on this, it's really more of your life's goal that you suddenly see ahead of you. This is the kind of thing that you spent a career looking for. And so that thinking side of your brain just sort of shuts down in awe of this moment. Ella, you actually have a better chance of this with your roll. The figure in front of you appears to be made of some kind of dark stone. It's the first non-whitish stone that you've seen since you've been down here. Everything else has been made from this same granite type. There are local rocks to this area that are black. Basalt or obsidian. There's all kinds of things that it could be. But what that does mean is that someone had to have gotten a large enough piece of stone down here to have made this.
And Ella looks at it for a little longer and then looks at Dr. Jones. So someone must have had enough of this different type of stone to carve this. Also, we're gonna be fucking famous. I mean, look at the material.
Sorry. Yeah, no, this is amazing. Do you know how to sketch?
Yeah, like, I'm okay. And I think I had sketched something last session with some, like, at least ability to tell what it was. So, I would like to do that again, take out my notebook and sketch the figure.
Yep. Perfect.
Okay, so
And
I will do that.
I'm going to come in closer and get some closer up shots of them working with this, and some kind of sweep up, sweep down with the camera over the object, and with the big ass light on it. So I'm probably the primary source of light besides headlamps.
Actually,
Camera's brighter than a headlamp.
Dr. Jones is probably going to wave Mark over to get a more direct light on the statue to see if any fine details have really stand out, or if there's any symbols on there that could resemble lettering or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll split the difference and kind of come up closer to them. I obviously won't be in their personal space. They've got work to do, but I'm hanging back with a higher zoom, and I'll just turn the light up. So it's, max brightness, basically.
Perfect. So with this additional light, you have a much better view of this statue. Ella, you begin sketching, and it becomes clear pretty quickly that this is likely a representation of the same figure you sketched from the building in session 1. It has the same general posture, the same general kind of body shape, albeit going from a 2D sketch representation to this 3D statue. Dr. Jones, with this additional light and how close you're getting, you start to notice that there's maybe some kind of pattern on this statue. Like, the closer you get, you can see these tiny little fractures in it, like little itty-bitty puzzle pieces that are coming together, and it's just made up the entire structure of this statue.
All right, I want to get really close to it, and gonna very gently, if it looks like puzzle pieces, I am going to take out like my toolkit and get out like just like a tiny little brush, and I'm gonna just brush along to see if the bristles can go into the oh my goodness, I just brain farted.
Just like in a little crack.
Just a little cracks, yeah.
Perfect. Can I get... No reason at all. Go with a Dex survival roll from the 3 people in this room.
Oh.
Okay.
For totally no reason at all.
My blood didn't just run cold or anything like that.
You got me in the big pool. That's
survival?
my biggest pool right there.
Shit. Well,
Where's the F button? F.
I was like F for Ella, like for sure right now. I'm so scared. This is such a bad. Okay, well, I got 3. That's great. For
Nice.
Question: is this kind of like V20 where ones take away from successes, or
No.
Okay, thank you. 2.
Thank you. And 6.
6 for me.
All right. So you two are going about your business. You're sketching and you're filmifying. And Dr. Jones kneels down. And any particular spot you want to try to do this brushing from?
You know what? I'm gonna lean into the thematics for this, and I'm going to start brushing the face.
The face? Perfect.
Just get a better look. I'm leaning into
Into this.
leaning into the tropes. I'm leaning into the
It's
tropes.
gonna be fine.
Well, like there's this weird, is it horns? Is it hands? I don't know, but now there's a, 3D representation. Is it horns or hands?
Yes. So you get close
I have to
enough just before you go to brush it. They do appear to be more similar to horns than hands. You can definitely tell that. But you can't tell much more because you take your brush across its face, and these little black flecks flutter off. And from there, the whole thing crumbles. And thousands of shiny black ant carcasses cover Dr. Jones. They spill all over her arms, down her shirt, across her feet. You can feel these dry little bodies against your hands, and anywhere you have bare skin, they're coming in the tops of your boots. And it hits the ground in this noise of just as these dust carcasses go everywhere. And
like the statue is the dust carcass?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, those of you who did get a good enough roll, Ella, you see this start to happen, and you kind of skitter back across the ground on your elbows and your butt to get away from it. So you don't get any of the carcasses per se, but you definitely get the upturn of dust and the dried carcasses coming over your feet. Mark, you were far enough away, and you did well, so you are safe from this collapse.
Okay. And I imagine I made like a really super scary camera effect because I'm backing up as I zoom in. So I've got that like Lord of the Rings roadside like that moment.
So our home cam on their drone cam just see this sudden collapse of smoke, and then Mark backs up basically into the drone.
I can hear it behind me, right? So I'm like,
yeah,
I'm doing one of these at the drone.
To come forward or to go back? You were up.
I'm waving at the camera for like hey, because I know that if I shout back, it's not going to do much. But I'm waving to the drone for them to come in.
So you can see Mark waving for you to come in.
Sound, how well can you walk and fly that drone at the same time? Can you just let it sit there and hover? We need to go.
Are we sure that he doesn't want the drone to go in?
He's not going to want the drone to go in.
No, he's wanting us to go. Now, Sound, just park. Can you just land the drone? We have to make our way over there. There's something just happened.
Okay.
So
you hear the bees settle as the drone sets down.
And Lucas, if the two of you wouldn't mind accompanying
Already going.
me.
Already on it. Let's go.
All right.
So the rest of the camp is now heading towards the church. And we'll return back to that scene. Dr. Jones, you are breathing desiccated bits mixed with dust, and they are all over you.
There's coughing, and just the face is just both like twisted in anger and disgust, and just like.
You okay,
like,
Doc?
You can just seething with rage. I am covered in thousands of little tiny dead insect corpses. I need a minute.
Okay.
And Ella's not saying anything. Yeah.
And tries to like brush herself off. She's coughing, feeling around for like her canteen.
So you do a pretty okay job of brushing them off. They come off your clothes actually pretty easily, because they're so dried up. They're almost more like flakes than they are active insects. So they're not doing the like stick to you thing that bugs do. So you kind of, whip your shirt around a bit and they mostly come off. But as you're brushing them down off your arms and down off your chest, you're definitely getting a couple little pricks and prods as you've gotten a couple little very, very shallow, almost skin deep injuries, one might say.
Were those bugs?
Yeah, she started just brushing the face, and then it fucking
It's a statue.
What?
Bugs. I don't fucking know.
But it didn't look like that when you first went in, right? It didn't look like a bunch of ants. It just looked like dark stone.
Right here. I was right here. And I swear it was stone.
And Storyteller, the statue, like the figure is like completely gone. It's just a pile.
Yeah, it collapsed inward, very much in that almost cartoonish kind of sense where it all comes inward and you get the out the bottom.
Gotcha.
But where it did collapse into what's still the largest collection of these shiny black corpses, there are bones mixed in.
Bones. Okay, like
the bottom.
What can I like roll to identify like what kind of bones they like, who they belong to? Not that, but like what creature?
Can I assist to give Ella an extra die?
Sure, why not? That sounds fun. So that'll be an Intel Academics again for you. And then Dr. Jones is assisting.
So I'll put an extra die in there.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 sec.
And against my better judgment, as they're investigating what I can only assume is human remains, I'm coming in, just whispering the word Pulitzer to myself under my breath.
Yeah, you're getting some phenomenal shots, without question.
Yeah.
Oh boy, the dice are really putting me through it now. I got a 3 in that whole
A 3?
Yeah.
The bones are moderately large, not extremely large. You would feel confident saying that they were human-sized, but you would not feel confident saying they're from a human.
Okay. And Ella will relay that to Mark and Dr. Jones. I mean, I think they're human bones, but not really sure, honestly.
Did you find a skull in there? Is this like...
Well, that over there is an acetabulum, and while that goes for all different types of animals, the way that human acetabulums are, there's a specific divot inside. It's highly acetabulum. So, like, your hip bone is where your leg fits into your hip.
Right.
It's the bone right there.
Right.
And there's a divot in there where it, where the muscle kind of attaches. It's much more prominent in human remains.
Right. And you're saying it has one?
It looks similar.
Okay.
I guess we should get the others in here, or
I mean, they were, as far as I know, like, my guy was watching the footage and I waved them to come and help, and they probably saw the puff
For
of dust. For
convenience sake, we'll say this is right as the remainder of the cast and NPCs join in. So how are we coming in? Are we coming running, or are we being careful?
Oh, I'm very much being careful, trying to go as quickly as safely possible. I also do not want to disturb anything here in this site, but speed walking. We'll say speed walking.
Moving pretty quickly.
But
I want to make sure these people's safety is my job, so.
One of those grandmas in the shopping centers, they're just
the shopping center speed walk.
They're like booking it, but like safely booking it.
Oh, just before the rest of our cast arrive, though, I am going to get a sanity roll from our 3 that were there for that.
Yeah, that tracks.
Sure. Yeah.
Just like it's gonna go well.
Just kind of become a bit more unhinged, does she?
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm good.
I'm good.
So I'm down to, what is it?
7?
Sanity 6 now?
Oh.
Ouch.
Yeah.
That'll take me
Mark,
down to
did
8.
Okay.
I failed that roll.
To be fair, you just got covered in bugs. Kirk is
I just
saying you
covered-
just watched somebody
Yeah.
get covered in bugs.
Yep.
And sorry, Ella, did you pass yours?
I did.
Fantastic.
Retain my 9 sanity.
Yeah. Karen can't
Alright, so-
tell if the bones were at the bottom of the statue or if the bugs were covering the bone statue. She doesn't know right now. She's kind of freaking out with the fact that she's covered in corpses and that there's just bones right there. And it was just like, this is supposed to be a rock. I just wanted to be a rock.
As you guys arrive to this church, Dr. Jones is standing at the front where the statue is no longer, muttering to herself, "It was supposed to be a rock. It was just supposed to be a rock."
What happened?
Everybody okay?
It was supposed to be a rock.
And so Ella then kind of goes up to Dr. Kent and she like has her notebook in hand. She's like, we came in and we saw this like dark stone statue of like a feminine figure, and she was like looking up and had horns, and but then Dr. Jones was trying to just brush it and it like dissolved into a pile of ants. It looked like it's kind of like, you know, like this. It's like a but then yeah, it's just like a bunch of ants like
Alright.
My character, that's amazing. Sorry.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Continue.
Alright, 2 points. Dr. Jones, are you okay? You're not cut.
I need some water.
And I toss her my canteen.
And we'll just...
Number 2, Ella, really good little illustration. Make sure before you finish this up, you note like approximate height. This is going to be very important for your notes.
Okay, storyteller. I actually
5'5".
I don't know that we asked that the height of the statue.
Did either of you actually get a good roll on that? I don't think either of you did spin.
Actually, no. I
Just
got like
right
4.
next to it. I feel
I got
like
4.
Yeah, let's have a quick chance
Yeah.
die here. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So you noticed it was roughly the same size as Dr. Jones, who is an average-sized female.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was larger than I was imagining. So that's cool. That's very scary. Ooh. Ew.
Does that explain?
There are a lot of corpses on me.
Does that explain
and
the formations?
The bugs?
Oh, like ants marching.
I don't know.
And I'm
I mean,
Jones
Go ahead.
will walk over and will hand her toolkit to Ella with like plastic baggies and stuff inside, and like their tiny little plastic cups, and just like get some samples. And she will go outside. She's continuing to like brush herself off. She's taking off her shoes and like just unhappy and a little itchy from the pricks and the dust.
I'm gonna follow her.
Kind of mixing
follow
on her
out,
skin.
By the way, gonna go with her.
This is probably staying a good like 6-7 feet away from Dr. Jones right now, so
and I'll be since Dr. Jones has someone with her, I'm going to stay with Ella and help her gather samples.
and
I'll
Ella
just
sets
shove
to
the
work
camera
right
in.
away.
about that.
Yeah, Ella starts in right away and is like getting all the samples where they need to go. Now, okay, they look like just regular ants, like just regular, like there's nothing weird about the formation. I mean, I guess they're kind of poofing into dust, a lot of them.
Yeah, you are definitely having that trouble. Like, these are very dry and desiccated, so when you do try to scoop them up, you're ending up with more dust than you are formed corpses. But as far as you can tell, they appear to be just small black ants.
Okay.
And at the very least, Ella, we can do some genetic sequencing on these when we get it sent back. They'll be able to break down the genome for what species the ant this is.
Yeah, because they won't they keep just...
Don't even bother. Just get a couple of scoops. I myself am going to actually pick up one of the bones and examine it.
Perfect. Can I get an int academics from you?
Okay. Archaeology isn't my specialty, but you spend enough time in this area, you pick up a few things.
You learn to pick up bones.
Yeah.
I'm just recalling childhood memories of like science museums where they like let you dust off the bones, and that was always the best.
Right.
That is 5.
5? Perfect.
Yes.
Awesome. So you do feel pretty confident being able to guess that these are likely human bones, just sort of based on what you would expect from the region and the way they're laid out and what you do find here. It appears also that a lot of the bones crumbled when they hit the ground, and it's not till you pick them up and start, kind of giving them a little scratch with your fingers to see why that is, that you realize these are also extremely dry. They appear to have been dried fully beyond the marrow. These are completely desiccated bones.
Like hollowed all the way through?
Basically, anything one could expect of nutrients in this is gone.
So it's just the calcium shell on the outside then. Alright. Now, with Storyteller, am I maybe able to guess the approximate age of the bones themselves, both chronologically and biologically? Like would this have been to like an older or like an older adult, a teenager, etc.?
I would say you need to get these back to your camp to do those kind of like chemical tests on them to see how they break down and stuff.
Understood.
That's not something you're going to be able to guess in particular. You do find a leg bone, so it seems likely that this was an adult.
Okay.
Is there like a mandible somewhere?
Yeah, there's kind of a broken off piece of a mandible.
Cool, then you can help. You can see by the teeth. There you
Exactly,
go.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna making sure to help separate the ant from the human powder at this point.
It's difficult with the powders, but the large bones that didn't crumble when they hit the ground, you're able to sift out.
Mm-hmm. And once we've gotten everything kind of like bagged and tagged, I'm just gonna maybe take a closer look at the actual interior of the building when there's time.
Perfect.
If
So
you sciencey types have this here, I think Spencer and I are gonna head back to camp.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. You
Alrighty.
I actually look at my watch. Approximately what time of day is it getting to be now?
you're probably getting on about like 3:30 by this point because you guys had lunch before you even trekked into this area.
All right. So tell you what, let's all check back in at the camp around 6, and then we'll sit down, whip up something quick to eat, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do the rest of the day.
We got you for that. Don't worry about it.
All right. Well, thank you. It's appreciated.
So,
And
well,
Spencer's like, yeah, let's go.
So I've kind of followed the dock out into the antechamber on the outside.
Yeah, we're gonna hop over to that scene.
Okay. And I'm gonna kind of come up behind her and like you can tell that this is like he's a pretty stealthy person naturally, so he's shuffling his feet to let you know that he's following behind you. He just kind of goes, "You should check for any scrapes, cuts, or bruises. Whatever is down here, the bacteria, if you do not want that in your system. I've got, and you can, he reaches down to his belt and pulls out what's obviously like an old weathered, like maybe Korean War era, so like before him, kit that wraps around like a really well made suture kit and like field surgeon kit, and is just kind of standing by to for a self inspection.
And so I will, like, basically take off my outer layers a little bit, brushing everything off. Storyteller, does anything look like, do I have a rash or anything? Are there like any, like from the pricks, are there anything visible?
Are you looking for it, or are you letting Mark check you for it?
I'm gonna look, but from a respectful, safe distance. I'm not, obviously not like touching or manipulating her, but I'm just gonna look as she's doing
I
it.
don't give a fuck.
Okay, I'll take a somewhat closer look then. Well, we're probably both looking.
Sure.
All right, why don't we go ahead and get an intel medicine from both of you then?
All right. My intel's not spectacular.
Should have played a smarter character.
Should have played a smarter character.
I don't have that.
I'm assuming my specialization first aid will play here.
Yes, that will play here.
Okay.
I have a 1. I'm fine. I'm totally fine.
Oh wait, no. Sorry. What does having your specialization that applies do? Again,
Adds
sorry.
one more die.
Adds one more die. Sorry,
Adds another die.
Oh, landed in the same spot anyway. 4 successes for me. 4.
All right. So, Dr. Jones, you have a look down at your arms, and everything seems, fine. You're a little reddish, but you've also been, kind of scraping at your arms for the last few minutes here. But everything seems totally normal to you for, considering what just happened. Mark, you get a closer look at her arms, however, and there are a few very small, very minor little abrasions, a couple little raised bumps. It's not so far as you might call it an allergic reaction, but her skin is definitely having a reaction to what just happened there. Okay. There's a couple little droplets of blood. It doesn't even look as if she fell down and scraped her arms level of bad.
Okay.
Mostly looks like it's irritated.
It more looks irritated than anything else.
Okay. You've got a little scrape here. I should, if you're cool with it, I'm going to clean that. You do not want a bacterial infection from anything down here.
Mm-hmm. She'll just stick out her arm.
Yeah. And the standard, probably hydrogen peroxide, but I'll use the kit and disinfect and then give it a little light wrap.
Yeah, we'll let your medicine roll just carry through. You get it kind of washed off and antibiotic or antibacterial, and it doesn't even really need a wrap. Once you've got it all cleared off, it seems to be pretty okay. Okay. It's something to keep an eye on just in case, because everyone's always afraid of jungle fever, but it doesn't appear to be any kind of cut, which is the big problem. When
we stop for dinner, you should undress this, check and make sure it's not developing into a more severe skin irritation, and then I'll give you a fresh bandage there. It's probably nothing, but you were just, human remains, ant corpses. You don't want to fuck with that.
No, you really don't.
Yeah.
I want to go back to our main camp. I've got those body wipes that I feel gross.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You're okay though, right? You're all right?
Pissed, but fine.
Yeah, okay.
And is Ella still in the temple? I think I'm still inside, am I not?
Yeah, you guys were still inside when we left off.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah, you guys, you're, gathering a few scoops of this. You're probably, tagging the bones, helping Dr. Kent with that kind of stuff. And you were having a look around the church before you left. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Perfect. So the inside of it is About what you'd come to expect from this sort of find. There is pottery, there is, some fabric around, a couple moldering strips of fabric, about what you'd expect to find in a place like this. Goblets that probably used to hold ceremonial wines, that kind of thing.
As far as here we are. As far as the goblets go, metal that they're made out of seem to be from the area. There's nothing.
They're actually stone as well.
It's stone. Oh, it's stoneware. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so no metal there to be had.
You have not found any metal here yet. There has been there's a bit of pottery in here, the old clay type that you would expect.
It's all ceramic and bone work. Okay.
Yeah.
How about the ripples? The wrinkles.
The ripples in here, when you start actually looking around with your flashlight, they are extreme in here. They almost don't even look like ripples in here. They almost look like... They're bad enough that they almost look like overhydrated wallpaper. Like, it's like squiggly.
Yeah? What you got?
Storyteller, just kind of a weird question, but is there any particular smell in here? Like, does this smell, besides being like musty and perhaps the kind of dry, like moldy smell of the bones and stuff, like, is there any other like distinct smells that I can detect here?
Nothing that stands out to you, no.
Okay, that's cool. And same goes for like sound. Like, is there any strange sounds?
You couldn't hear it for a long time because the drone was going.
Yeah.
But now that the drone has been set down, you do hear that strange sound that you heard all last night. That shifting skin against skin, fabric shifting kind of sound.
So something's gotten into my... yeah.
You hear that, right?
Yeah, I do. Actually, you know what? I wonder. I'm gonna put my ear down to the floor. I'm not gonna break open the floor with my hammer like I think I'm gonna be able to. I'm gonna put my ear down to the floor and listen. Because something Mark said earlier, or someone said something earlier about the bugs using the wrinkles.
It's definitely louder.
Oh. Hey, Ella, come here.
And Ella will kneel down, or kind of like get down beside him and also listen, and just looks at him after a moment with a look of concern, like, what the are there insects like in the ground? Like, are they under this? Are they in the stone? Like, that doesn't make any sense, right?
No, it doesn't. Let's. I don't think it's a good idea to be inside this building right now. Let's go find Dr. Jones.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And Ella does feel like this kind of pull to stay and continue to like examine things, but knows that Dr. Kent is probably right that we head back. And she, like, as they're like making their way out and like heading back, like, she wants to relay to him like as much detail about the statue that was existing there previously before it turned into ants.
Yeah, now anthropology is not my strong suit. Can I, storyteller, can I make an educated guess I would like to see if Harrison here would maybe be able to make some educated guesses as far as what that female figure represents. I've got intelligence in academics or intelligence in occult.
Well, are you looking to put together a guess about their culture, or? Yeah,
as far as trying to get a better, we'll say, conceptual picture of what that female figure might represent.
Let's go ahead with your occult then.
Okay. I don't know. There's you can usually find some sort. Once again, the motifs from culture to culture carrying over, and holy shit balls, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes. Now the thing though, the motifs from culture to culture, there's always going to be some sort of feminine archetype that statue might represent, and storyteller will fill in the rest of the detail that I might know.
So yeah, a lot of cultures have that kind of all-giving mother figure, and here, since you're kind of drawing the correlation with the ants, you definitely have the queen ant kind of idea being represented here on this dais.
And the fact that we're in the Incan equivalent to hell right now, combined with that figure, there's this place is definitely going to be making some headlines here.
But Mark like got it on film, so like everybody will see that weird shit that happened. Like people are gonna flip out.
This is we need to understand that our meal ticket's punched. Our meal ticket was punched as soon as we got down here, right? We need to make sure that we are keeping this all in perspective, and we don't start looking at dollar signs, even though, yeah, that's my primary motivation for coming down here.
I mean, obviously I don't give a fuck about that.
I get that. But
anyway, okay,
we need to make sure that we're staying level-headed about what we're doing down here.
Okay, I want to tell you more about the statue, but I want to have everybody together first. So,
all right. So is everyone reconvening at the camp in here? I assume we're not going back through just yet.
Yeah, just mini camp. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, your breakdown camp is here and it's set up, and we'll go ahead and say everyone sort of reconvenes unless someone is making a specific point not to reconvene at the camp. Perfect.
Yep.
When the two get back, because I'm assuming that Mark and Dr. Jones went ahead and followed Lucas and Spencer back to camp.
Yeah, as we're walking back, because you guys are doing that for a little bit, right? I basically say I know you're a little bit shaken up, but I had planned to do a little talking head piece with you. Are you down for that, or do you need some time?
Sure, we can do it.
Okay, cool. I'm sure they'll be back along pretty shortly. We can do it back at the camp. I've got some lights.
Okay.
And
we'll make it work.
Yeah, same deal as before. Little tripod setup and everything. I'm guessing sound came with me.
Yeah. Sound
Okay.
follows either you or Ella around at this point.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So yeah, we'll sit down. Just where we can. I want to get kind of. I know it's super dark, but I want to get kind of the cave in the background. It'll probably be mostly darkened out, but we may see some moving lights in the background, kind of thing. I'll probably pipe one light out so we get just some rock texture in the background, and we'll sit down. And so, fairly informally, I had a set of different questions prepared, but this was before all of that happened. Can you start by just giving me your name and what specifically like your discipline is and your focus on this trip?
My name is Dr. Karen Jones. I am an archaeologist that specializes in ancient cultures and caving. I work at the university. Okay.
Okay. Great. So, what is the particular significance of this find from a archaeological social perspective? Why is it important?
And like for the first time, like that you guys see, and she actually kind of like smiles a little bit, and her like wrinkles get like a little bit more prominent because it's not really like, it's a little bit of a lopsided smile. It's cultures that are lost are puzzle pieces of who we are as people. You know, I may not have a genetic background here, but every little bit, every different type of people have something that makes them them. And we have lost so much information. There's more people and civilizations that we have lost that we don't even know about. And uncovering those is big. Not only because we learn about them, we also learn more about ourselves.
Nice. I like that. Okay, perfect. So maybe because we're obviously going to have that footage there, can you draw any kind of preliminary conclusions based on the discovery that you made? Or is that too early to tell?
It's too early to tell.
Okay. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
we'll circle back around to that and kind of do like
even looking. I'm hoping we find another one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's one of those things I think towards the end of our little trip we'll circle back around as you start to build more context. So
we need to talk to Ella.
Yeah, we will for sure.
No, sorry. If we find another one, and she's kind of half muttering to herself, and if we find another one, we're gonna need to figure out how to keep it stable. If we need to keep it stable, it's mostly dust. If it's mostly dust, we need to keep it together. We don't have any kind of glue, adhesive.
You good?
Hairspray.
Hairspray.
We need hairspray. We need to spray it with hairspray next time.
Nice. Yeah, when she
anyway,
comes back, we'll...
Sorry.
No, all good. You doing the brain thing. So, as far as this specific, I guess we'll use your bit along with Dr. Kent's bit. What is this place, and why is it significant that we have found it, or at least we believe we found it?
We don't really know. We're hoping that it is this lost city that has been reported to have, been found in various places, but having something a little bit more concrete would be helpful. It gives us, as I said before, insights, but also now seeing the walls, seeing how everything is so interlocking. How can they make this? How could they live down here as well? If we are however many feet below the surface, they don't just eat rocks. They don't. Hell or not, they're not eating rocks.
Can you give me a little bit about that? About how the Inca believed that Hell was living underground eating rocks? The thing that you said before, I got it on camera, but it'd be better to do it in the talking head.
Yeah. So the Incas had a very developed view of the afterlife, and so there were, in general, 4 different places in the afterlife. The major 2 was heaven, towards the sun, beautiful, plenty of food. Your generic cross-cultural. This is amazing.
Paradise.
Hell was literally in the ground, just cold in the ground, and you only could eat rocks, basically. And that was the hell. So they did have a lot of mining, and they were able to find a amazing things, including also large mercury reserves, but it didn't exactly like being underground.
Okay. Now, ants. I know biology is not really necessarily your field, but can you maybe give me a little bit of information about what you discovered with regard to the ants? I don't know how that's going to cut in, but we've got what we need. I see this going in a different direction. What's
There's
that?
no topsoil. There's no topsoil down here. I don't think I've ever heard of ants being so deep, and we haven't been able to see any kind of fungus or vegetation, so what are they eating? That makes no sense.
Okay. Can you think of a soundbite you'd like to contribute about the significance of the find? Anything like that?
Words are not exactly my thing.
Okay. Let me think here. I've always liked because I want to expound a little bit more on the history of humanity. That every lost piece is something that we. I have a quote that you could probably paraphrase. Carl Sagan said, "There's an unbroken thread that stretches from the first cells to us." Sort of the same idea that from the beginning of society to us, there's an unbroken thread, something like that, but without ripping off Sagan.
Okay, let's see here. Not my forte. Let's do. Let's do what I can lean into. The Incas had these things that they would make sacred. There would be areas that are sacred and things that they would make sacred. Sacred is what we make it. Everything can be precious if you care enough about it. Or something like that. I don't fucking know.
I like it. Everything can be precious if you make it so. I like that. That's cool. And then, yeah. All right, awesome. That concludes your talking head segment. Though when we figure out more about the ants, I think both, like we're probably just going to do like a little mini round table, and I'll just go one or the other, because this is developing in a different direction than I thought. I had expected to find some rocks, and these rocks would be cool, and this is going to change the game.
I was not expecting ant rocks.
I was also not expecting ant rocks. Yeah. Abrasion still doing okay? No pain? No anything?
Doesn't
It does
hurt.
get pretty itchy.
I was gonna say it's probably itchy. Like it's a little itchy.
Yeah, some itching. Like we put disinfectant on it and it's bandaged. Some itching's gonna happen. You seem like you had some skin irritation from it. Just watch for swelling or pus or anything like that. If it, just keep an eye on it. If it starts looking infected, we'll be extra safe and probably have to head back up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Right, so as they conclude their talking head, everyone else kind of all rejoins at the camp.
And Jones is like zeroing in on Ella, just like, do you have hairspray? Because she's pissy, so she's just focusing on work.
Okay, so Ella will, I mean, this is really the storyteller's discretion, but if it's cool, I'll look in my bag and I'll find one of those travel hairsprays.
Absolutely. Not a
Okay.
useful hairspray in any way.
No, not useful, but there nonetheless. So she'll take her backpack off and dig. It's like, yeah, it's not very good. The hold is kind of shitty, but wait, what is this for?
Next time we find one of those, I need you to stand very far back and cover the shit out of it. Use the entire can, if you have to.
Okay, yeah, that I can see how that makes sense. All right, noted for the next statue.
I'm sorry about not giving a fuck about your hair, but
I mean, you can see it's just wilting. There's gonna be no volume in here. I just have to make peace with that.
Well,
I think
Dr.
it looks
Jones,
good.
I mean, that's all well and good, but you and I both know there's not a snowball's chance in hell on us getting that out of here in one piece.
Yeah, but maybe we could get some pictures.
Well, at
being
the
able
very
to look at it a little bit longer than it just.
well, I mean, the historical and anthropological significance of the ant statues. I mean, by all means, that's your call there, Doctor. If you think that the hairspray treatment's at least one way to keep it stable, so we can figure out how to get it out of here later.
I mean, I think it's worth a shot.
Just we need.
I think if there's one, there's more, but we need at least to keep something more stable until we can get better equipment, better anything.
Right.
But being able to look at it and breathe on it before it crumples into your boots, yeah.
And
I think I'm okay with damaging some of the finer details in order to, stabilize the damn thing.
Right. We've now that we've gotten your professional concern addressed, and by the way, yes, it's a very good idea. There's something more pressing matter that I think all of us need to be made aware of, and I kind of lead Dr. Jones and Ella towards Lucas and Mark here as we're talking. So whichever one of y'all said something earlier about the bugs using those channels to get to and from.
Yeah.
No, you were definitely onto something. Ella and I could hear them or hear something in that room scurrying down to the floor. You know that sound last night that we all heard that kept us all up and that none of us could fucking sleep through?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that same exact noise, except when you put your ear next to it, it was louder, like in the wrinkles in the ground. So
That
I don't
would
know what
require
that is.
an insane amount of insects.
I know.
And other than the corpses, we haven't seen anything.
And speaking of corpses, other than those bones, has anyone actually found any human remains while they were poking around?
No. Not
You
until
guys
now.
haven't done a full search of this second area yet. You went straight for the big building. But nothing you found in the first area.
Right. So, is everyone doing relatively? Yeah, Lucas. You had your hand up. I didn't know if you wanted to say anything.
2 cents. Fucking cave wrinkle things. Those fucking anthills.
Yeah, that was my thought too. I had seen them, seen stuff like that before. It's usually underground, like in the topsoil, but yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have.
This deep down?
Yeah, we did some shit with Nat Geo about 7 or 8 years ago, and like fire ants and stuff would do that, and then they'd basically pour hot metal down the anthill to discover like the
castings. I've seen the videos on YouTube.
Yeah, I shot a couple of the videos on YouTube. That like the whole idea is that like they make these sprawling tunnels that go out through the topsoil. It's usually easy to move topsoil. This appears to be working through stone, though, which like may not particularly be
super into researching bugs, but I'm pretty fucking sure they don't normally do that.
No, they can't really burrow through stone.
No, no. Okay, so that being said, there was something else that kind of the thing with that room and that statue. It is my professional opinion that this city is definitely we'll say unsafe to be lingering too much longer in my opinion, until we can actually come down here with
A
more
giant
resources,
fucking can of raid.
more resources, more manpower. I personally recommend that if we do not completely abandon where we're at right now and just get the hell out of here, we at least fall back to the 350 camp and we do what we can there.
Yeah.
Dr. Jones, do you have any professional input there on my recommendation?
My professional input is I want a fucking shower, and I can't get it, so I want my shower wipes.
All right, so at least going back to the previous camp sooner rather than later. Let's all get a quick bite and let's get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Capitalism question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Capitalism question. How much do you guys like the people who have you down here? Like, was the grant
don't like
solid? Was it
anyone.
comfortable? Did they set you up well?
Oh, I kind of handled the academic angle of this. There's, of course, as with everything else, there's corporate concerns. I didn't handle that end of the arrangement all too much. I was just given a check and said, here.
Right. Okay. So you don't really care if, say, an independent documentary filmmaker were to shake them the fuck down for this footage?
You know what? By all means. The significance of what we've got going on down here, I think, is we could stand to work whatever leverage we could.
Yeah.
Well, and I can try to get my dad to kick in some stuff too.
Yeah, I mean, your dad's gonna have to like beat the Smithsonian. I think everybody's gonna want a piece of this. As it stands right now, we've gone from being a cool nature documentary about splunking and discovering ancient civilizations into like a major groundbreaking find. That's going to go to the highest bidder with a deference associated with the university that already paid me, although they didn't pay me a lot, so I could always take this somewhere else.
The private sector is always where the money is, and that's why, I'm trying to get the hell there myself. So no, Mark, you do what you need to do with what you've got on hand. There's, we've got our field notes alone is a career maker, let alone the actual AV evidence that you've got on hand.
Yeah.
So you do what you feel you need to do with that documentation you got there, sir.
And I'm starting to feel like there's probably a cut in it for you guys if you make it compelling, if you really sell it.
Well, you can count on me, Mark.
Okay, because I think we got something special here. I want to keep that energy.
I don't think we need to make it compelling. Have you seen. You're here.
No, I mean the
you seen
personalities
this shit?
associated with it. Like everybody wants that, the Indiana Jones moment, the discovery, just so we're on the same page.
He's wanting us to make it so John Q. Public is actually going to give a shit about what's going on down here.
Well, and Dr. Jones, don't worry. You can just leave some of that to me. You can be the curmudgeon, and you don't like being on camera.
I was gonna say
fine.
raging bitch, but yes.
I mean, I wasn't gonna say that, but your words, not mine.
Look, all the doc has to do is be her charming, vulgar self. And I'm pretty sure
people will like that.
Yes.
People will
like the brusque, relatable doctor. Absolutely.
My primary concern is making sure that we all get out of here. And you all do what you feel you need to do to make your footage mark the best that it possibly can. I got a job to do, and I'm gonna see to it that I do my best to get you guys out of here in one piece with Lucas's assistance, of course.
And Ella is like looking around and like kind of back toward the temple, with kind of a spark in her eye, maybe that hasn't been seen before, coming in this area. And she's like, I know you said we want to leave like soon, but can I just like check out one more building, like one of the smaller ones?
So my 2 cents on leaving, while I know that Dr. Kent wants to get the fuck out of here, that was a long way for those of you that aren't necessarily used to doing this stuff on a daily and weekly basis. And you've just spent more time wandering around here and exploring.
He's right.
I know that
you're saying no.
Adrenaline going right now.
The adrenaline's going to wear off, and we're all going to drop out. You're not totally wrong about that.
There is zero chance after everything that, no offense, all of y'all are going to make it back to our primary camp tonight. Without
all right, fine. Fine.
You want to go explore? Make it quick. But come back here soon.
Alright, look.
Because
Ella,
you're going to feel
I'll go
exhausted in fairly short order.
Ella, I'll go with you. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Yeah, just one small building.
Oh.
And Storyteller, Ella would just like to go to probably one of the closer buildings that are in proximity to the mini camp. Like, she's not going to go deep towards the temple, but just whatever one is there.
Okay.
And I'm following,
nearby
obviously.
Available building.
Sound also jumped up and grabbed a camera?
Of course.
Yeah. So it is the 4 of you heading towards it. So before I describe it, is there anything in particular you're looking for here? Or?
I'm actually looking for any additional like feminine figures, as well as anything that would seem insect related.
Okay.
Like iconography or evidence of more insect activity or more statues or carvings or anything like that.
While you're doing that, can I get you to give me like an active description while you're going, like a walk and talk of like the mother figure, like that you were talking about, the myth earlier, the Earth Mother type thing. I mean, yeah, we can gloss over it if you want for timeline, Lex, but it's up to you.
Sure. Are you looking for me to do the talk about it? Or
No, I was asking them. I'm making sure that I don't run over time with talking heads.
Yeah, we should be okay as long as, it's somewhat quick.
Yeah, I'm gonna, it'll just be short. So Ella sort of like, once he says that, and she's like enthusiastically like nodding, like, yeah, she wants to do that. So she'll kind of like stop out front of the building, and she'll sort of just like, and then be like, okay, so I'm noticing that there is all the figures that we've seen and we found have been feminine. This is hell, and maybe these statues are demons. So I'm thinking, is there some kind of like original sin type of analog in the situation, that like there's a downfall that has to do with women, or are women perhaps these like lords of hell? I'm trying to figure out how how all of it is connected, and how the symbology intertwines, and how much of these feminine figures are dealing with the mythos that we already know and what's new. So there's a lot of connections to be drawn. So I'm looking for these feminine figures to figure that out. Okay, so I'm entering.
Perfect.
All right.
I'm mostly just here babysitting.
So you head into this this building, and it's very much like the buildings from your first camp. It does actually seem to be a little larger when you get inside. You're not sure if that's some kind of hierarchical thing. The closer it is to the temple, the larger it is, or if it's just natural shifts in size, things like that. It could be a number of things leading to this. But inside, it's very similar to the first one. You have the same wrinkles in the walls, the same formed chairs around it. And you also have that same female figure that's been etched into the wall with the arms down. And you can now realize the face is turned up in this etching now that you've seen it in a 3D representation. Can I also get a wits? Yeah, let's go wits awareness on it. From you, Ella.
Sure. Yeah.
This isn't a puppy check, is it?
I'm sure it's
It
a
is
puppy check.
a baby puppy there. There's
I
not.
got 5.
5? Perfect. So you go to start doing your talking, head to Mark. But the etching actually kind of catches you before you can get rolling on your shtick. And you get quite a bit closer to it before you kind of realize that the figure isn't depicted with horns. It's depicted with antennae.
Wow. Okay, so there is some connection between this insect and this feminine figure. Not horns, but antennae.
I'm taking a closer look at it now.
And as you
You
get
see
closer,
that?
once she verbalized it, you can...
Hey, Mark, get in real close on this one.
Oh yeah, I'm already like coming over their shoulders.
I clear out of the way, so yeah, Mark and Ella have complete unfettered access to this thing here. I'm just keeping an eye on the room.
Yeah, and Mark's kind of holding you and he obviously sweeps down it and then comes back and is sort of holding you and it.
Yeah. So, insect and the feminine, you think queen bee, the queen of the hive. So when I think of hive, I think of kind of a hive mind. So is it one figure at the center with countless workers? Is there movement through these wrinkles and these unusual parts of the ground and walls? And why is she part humanoid and part insect, and not one way or the other, but a combination of the two? That's what really interests me. And then Ella kind of gets like a faraway look as she's almost just like staring into this etching. And she's like, and what did they even do down here? Like, beyond the questions of mere survival, in terms of how did they get food and everything like that, but what were they trying to achieve in the society? What were their beliefs and their values? I think we're onto it. And she'll kind of then like pull back slightly from being so close to the statue. But before she does, she just wants to like touch her hand to it, almost like in this like fond way.
So it feels very much like the rest of the wall. It does definitely have these wrinkles underneath it as well. It does not crumble to ashes since it is just the etching, thankfully.
Sure. Yeah.
But you feel the reverence of this. This was something carved in deference. You can feel that echoing through the ages as you connect with these ancient people through this moment.
And Ella will just like kind of like stand there silent, and then she'll look at Dr. Kent. Okay, well, I think that's all that's in here, but antennae, not horns.
Yeah, is there a noticeable difference in this depiction from the very first one that we saw? Like, was the first one, was it like definitely like antler horn hand thingies, and this one is like, it's okay, so it's just a clarification of the original figure.
It's a clarification of the original. You wouldn't be so confident as to say this was made by the same person or anything quite that specific. But what you couldn't quite suss out before now just sort of falls into place based on what you've learned since.
Understood.
You could still be wrong about it, because such is archaeology.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now, we really should be heading back here, but this is this is something that we're going to need to keep an active thought on. I wouldn't be surprised here if there's more places like that main temple and then this here. I bet if we went into every single building, we would find some sort of depiction of this ant woman.
Yeah, I agree.
Ant mother.
Yeah, ant mother. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, you're right. We should probably get back. So Ella will move to go back to the mini camp.
There's stories in Christian mythology as far as there were these places in across Europe where people would make these big ass pilgrimages, like across multiple modern what would be countries now, to go and visit certain like churches that had remains of saints and shit like that. Is it that maybe kind of what we're dealing with here? Is it like a place where they might go to do that?
Ooh, yeah, a pilgrimage site.
There's like fuck all reason for anybody to be underground. Like you said, they wouldn't have food, they wouldn't have anything. Like, I'm just spitballing. I'm not, but I've seen those places where people would go to.
I think that's a good theory.
There's a lot with this place that doesn't add up, and there's a bigger picture that we're missing yet. We're still putting the pieces together, and no, there's something not right about this place. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's something.
You say that it's not right, but is it just different?
There's different, and then there's shit that you know for a fact should not be. The ants down here should not be.
I get that, but I'm just saying, I don't know that we should be so quick to judge a culture we know nothing about.
I'm not judging the culture, I'm judging the fucking surroundings and the geography. This is not a safe place to be. It's
completely interwoven with the culture. This was a place, like Mark said, it could be some kind of holy place, a sacred place filled with these images. I just don't think. Yeah, it's fucking creepy, okay? The ants are gross, and, like, everything's weird, and the sound is strange. Like, I'm not saying it's not outside of the box that we understand.
Yeah, I mean, the caving shit that we did in Nat Geo, a bunch of the guys said that every cave is its own independent ecosystem, and they discover a species in cave systems every time they go in. Like there's something new and different to be discovered. Like it's its own little world.
How are they eating, Mark?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Basic
All right.
biology always wins.
We'll look around for like guano as we're making our way back. Like, is there like bat droppings or something on the ground? Like, what would an
You
animal
haven't
subsist
seen
on?
much of anything. You really haven't seen much of anything.
This has been a biological void space.
It certainly has. All right, so is the plan, just for my ST notes, to stay here at this point or head back to the 350 camp?
Depends. How does my arm look?
Are you actively checking it? Like having a look at it?
Yes, I will actively check it with my 0 medicine.
Yeah, go ahead and give me another
Intelligence roll.
Yeah.
Has anybody actually told Lucas that she got hurt?
I don't think anyone's actively
don't think
told you.
so.
So as you're sitting there, you can just watch her kind of
Oh,
checking out.
4.
4 successes on that one?
That was convenient. Yeah, no, I got.
That was super
Damn.
weird.
I was like, I only have 4 dice, so this is convenient.
All right, so as you and a small collection of NPCs are sitting around this camp, Dr. Jones, rolls up her sleeve again and takes off the bandage Mark used and is checking out her arms. And they look very, very red, very raw and dry, a little psoriasis-y, almost. But Dr. Jones, you see something deeper than that. As you're looking down at this mild, itchy little irritation on your arm, you're not sure if you've always had these little freckles on the back of your arm that you're kind of seeing now. And as you kind of take a little scritch of one, it withdraws back into your arm. And I think we're going to go ahead and close game right here.
Yes!
So, the night ends miserably for our cast. In this sad little camp, surrounded by this shifting noise that's coming from beneath you and around you and above you. And for one of you, it's now coming from inside you. All right, why don't we do some outro?
Burn it.
Burn me.
One chop off my arm.
with
Burn
fire.
it with
Yeah,
fire.
right.
Just burn me with fire.
Ah.
So good. I hate it so much. It's so good.
boys.
I hate it. Sorry, Ren, we're gonna burn your character at the stake.
We're gonna
Sorry
burn
about
my-
it.
I would request that you burn my character at the stake.
All right. So let's do our outros and let's go ahead and start with Ella.
Hey, my name's Sara. I played Ella. You can find me on Twitter at MC Diabetes. I'm a creative partner at Martlet Games. We have lots of tabletop content in production. We do Vampire the Masquerade, among other things. Been playing some video games. So keep up with the Martlet Twitter for news on that. You can see me as part of the Saturday Vampire Takeover right here on this channel, Vancouver by Night, in Vancouver by Night Delve into Darkness, where I play Jude the Tremere. We're about to take our mid-season break now, but I'm assuming when this airs, it'll just be ongoing. So just on Saturday from like 2 p.m. Eastern on throughout the day, there's all sorts of Vampire the Masquerade games. They're all very, very good, so I encourage you to check out that on Saturday. Sunday, I'm also on Vancouver by Night for D&D Phandalin by Night, which is a Lost Mines of Phandelver module run. It's my first long-term D&D game, so I'm having a ton of fun with that. And just keep an eye on my Twitter for the rest of the stuff. Really enjoying this game, Lex. Really just a blast. Thank you for having me, and thanks everybody for watching.
Awesome. Thank you. Dr. Jones.
Katharine. I played Dr. Karen Jones. You can find me on Instagram at smallfry. You can also find me on Weave the Tale for the Nuadan Chronicles and on TTRP Theater for 2 seasons of Sinners and Saints, Star Trek, and a few cameos and a couple of other things.
All right, and Lucas.
Hello, everybody. I am Johnathan. I play Lucas Costa, who is absolutely not enjoying himself anymore because
Crazy how fast that happened.
Oh yeah. There are in fact no puppies here.
I lied about the puppies.
God damn it.
Tricky.
I am the community manager for Jackalope Live Action Studios. We produce The Night in Question, which is a blockbuster Nordic-style Sabbat LARP. We actually just, as of the filming of this, held it last weekend, so I'm definitely running on empty right now. I am also one of the staff behind the Exeter by Night TikTok tag and series. I am running 2 games of that at midwinter because I am a glutton for punishment. And like Rin, you can also find me on Weave the Tale in the Nuadan Chronicles, and you can also find me on TTRP Theater in 2 seasons of Sinners and Saints.
All right, and Dr. Kent.
Hello, Patrick. Play Dr. Kent here. I'm the creative director over at Martlet Games. As Sara has stated, there's tons of stuff in production. I am playing Harley, the misery dog Nosferatu on Vancouver Adjacent by Night. We, as of the time of this filming, we are getting ready to wrap up season 4? 3? Season
3.
It's that game has gone on much longer than we were originally told, and I would not have it any other way. There's just tons of stuff. You can follow me at Lichter XIX on Twitter, at Martlet Games for the official business account on Twitter. Otherwise, there's multitude of shows in production that I don't even know what to pitch right now.
All of them.
Yes.
All right, and Mark.
Hi, I'm Jay. I played Mark on this evening, and you can find me on Instagram at Sounds of 604. This is my first time. I don't have a myriad of projects to plug, but this has been a lot of fun. It's thank you, Lex, for hosting, and thank you to the players, and thank you to everyone for watching.
Right. And I was Lex, your storyteller. You can catch me on Level Up TTV, where I play the very sexy, very stupid Toreador Cassandra. You can find me on the Nuadan Chronicles on Weave the Tale, the same 2 seasons of Sinners and Saints as my other fellow cast members here. I've been in one-shots of Stuff and Things, and will continue to be in those. But for the time being, you can find me here. I hope everyone enjoyed themselves and is ready for next week's episode of Skin Deep entitled The Height. And with that in mind, we're going to be raiding over to someone. I don't know who, but I bet they're awesome. So stick around, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.